For 1510 AM, WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Dominic, I'm not even sure what day it is. Happy Hump Day, buddy.
It made me think about it for a minute. Happy Wednesday, Crudy. Always a pleasure to join you to talk all these important political topics on the people's airwaves.
I know, buddy. I can hardly wait. I'm excited. Today, Donald Trump, I saw him on the CNN. I'm not exactly sure what the occasion was. He was standing out in front of, Marine One, the helicopter. Lots of nice toys the president has at his disposal. But Trumpster was getting interviewed. And it was, gaggle style. And he made an assertion, and it's not a false assertion, for a rarity. He told the truth on this one. But the question is why? Why would he go here? Why would Donald Trump brag about his college? Brag about his alma mater? It's almost as if he's implying by going to a really good Ivy League school.
Ivy League.
He somehow is a good human being.
Do you know who I am? I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
Trump went all Anchorman?
Sort of, yes. That was exactly where my mind went. Why Trump? Why do you feel the need before the press to brag about your alma mater? Now, we've got to find alma mater, perhaps not an Ivy League school, mind you.
A very fine alma mater, Crudy, University of Wisconsin, La Crosse.
I went to an Ivy League school. I'm very highly educated.
So he says. I don't make that same claim.
And those are two separate statements that may not have anything to do with each other.
The only thing I brag about, graduated, got the piece of paper.
Hey, well done, sir.
That's more than I can say for Joe.
And you had the privilege of living with me for 2 years. You're welcome.
Yes, the privilege entirely yours. But my degree is no longer accredited. I saw, and this is totally off topic, but here in Madison, UW-Madison, do you see they were considering throwing out the NBA?
But now they're not.
Perhaps it was a rush to judgment. They floated it out there, and it kind of landed like a lead balloon. And you've got an MBA, not from UW-Madison. You went to some other finer university of higher learning.
Oakland University in Rochester, Michigan.
Now, here's the point I was going to make, Tom. MBA. You don't have to go and get an MBA anymore. What a waste of money.
Nowadays, I would suggest that's probably the case.
Entirely a waste of money. You can do anything you need to do in business, just simply buy yourself a Wisconsin governor.
Really?
For the same amount of money you would have wasted on that grad school tuition, you could readily buy the governor of the state of Wisconsin.
I guess it would depend what your intent is. What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, I just buy him off. He buys off cheap.
It doesn't necessarily you don't gain any knowledge by buying off a governor.
No, you do not. But it's got some fringe benefits. Just ask the Taiwanese Foxconn people. Dom, so anyways, here's what President Trump said today. A little hump day. President Trump on Wednesday cited his Ivy League education in pushing back on the notion that he is an uncivil leader. Are you telling me you want to play this sound?
Not yet. Here's what Trump said. You know, people don't understand. I went to an Ivy League college, he told reporters at the White House. I was a nice student. I did very well. I'm a very intelligent person.
I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Yes. Now, Crudy, in explaining your educational
As did my dorm
background,
room.
did you ever, lead or mention that while you were in college, you were a very nice person? I mean, if you have to say these things, does it make them a little less true? I was a very nice person. I did very well. I'm a very intelligent person. If you have to really sell it like that, is it really true?
Truth be known, Tom, I played high school football, and I was a little bit dirty. I was a little bit of a street fighter in the trenches, where the real work gets done in football.
Were you like one of those spitters?
Not a spitter, but definitely an elbow or
you tried taking out knees, those kinds of things.
hands to the face, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'd use all those tricks.
Hands gouge out the ears a little bit. I mean,
Never gouged an ear, but I did spear a guy, Jeff. I feel bad about this. To this day, a guy running away from me, big kid on the team. He's like 250. And he's running away, and I knew it was like a reverse. And I knew this 250-pound kid was going to get there anyways.
Yeah.
But here I am. I'm coming around in on a pole, and I'm watching. I'm running at this guy's back.
you're sizing them up.
And the guy comes flying back the other way, and it's my own teammate. And not only did I clip him, but I speared him.
Oh, Crudy.
Jeff, I apologize. He never forgave me.
I don't know why.
I cannot imagine. I was a rough and tumble sort of kid.
Yes, well, you've grown up and matured. Now you're a rough and tumble old man. I'll continue in the Jordan
Now
Fabian.
Jeff would probably catch me and crush me like a bug.
Trump graduated from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania in 1968. Trump blamed the media for making him look, quote, more uncivil than I am. I think the press creates a different image of Donald Trump than the real person, he said.
Maybe it's going after a Gold Star widow, Dom. Maybe that's the rationale that the press might use. I continue to read from this.
I'm not blaming anybody. I don't like to go back and blame. I like to look to the future. I'm not blaming anybody.
I would quote a little further from this Jordan Fabian piece at thehill.com. Let me go first, buddy. In the past 2 weeks, Trump has feuded with a Gold Star widow who was offended by his comments during a condolence call after her husband was killed in Niger. He has also sparred with Senator Bob Corker and Jeff Flake. Let's not forget about yesterday.
Oh, that was yesterday? I mean, it seems so far away.
Who offered blistering criticisms of the president's conduct. I always got bad conduct grades myself. Did you get conduct grades?
In what, high school?
My second grade teacher called me blunt.
In second grade?
Yes.
Maybe she meant physically.
I thought it was a strength of character. Corker said Trump's inability to tell the truth has debased the country without naming the president. Flake called his conduct reckless, outrageous, and undignified, much like Dom on a Friday night in college. Trump has ripped both Flake and Corker, saying he thought the former was a Democrat and making fun of the latter's short stature. I can't imagine anyone doing that. Can you have pint?
Well, I guess I would expect nothing less from the president or the United States or my co-host friend of 25 years.
Why should I aspire to be more than the president of the United States?
You are not
aspires to
a
be?
role model, Mike.
I am like Charles Barkley, perhaps a little chubbier.
Yeah.
And I have a little fuzz on the top. I think he shaves his completely bald.
You could follow that.
Top
lead,
of the
man.
head, I meant.
Yeah, man. Just get rid of it. Why are you hanging on?
I thought you were looking at the manscape in there for a minute.
So, yes, Donald Trump continues today. We have some sound of that, but I think we're going to have to wait till we come back from the break before we get into it.
Did we already waste a whole segment?
Can you believe it?
I can hardly believe it, Tom. So does that mean we're taking a break?
Let's do that.
Wow. Did we ever jam that lead? Donald Trump, he's kind of a big deal.
Just ask him. He'll tell you.
I thought we were the big deals around here.
Well, he doesn't know. He'll figure it out.
I'd like to leave you all with this thought. Go F yourself, San Diego. I will read whatever's on the prompter. I think I've turned off my headset here as well. I hope I sound as clever to you, our radio audience, as I do in my own head, imagining the next words I'm going to say.
You should see Crudy in his mind. It is a beautiful thing.
I do have a beautiful mind. Ever since the lobotomy, I've been doing great. Come back with us. I got it on Election Day last year. I think the entire country did.
Crudy, you got it all wrong. I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy.
More Devil's Advocates. When we come back, perhaps we'll talk about something in the next segment. No promises. 844-967-2789. Perhaps you could suggest the topic.
I went to better schools than they did. I was a better student than they were.
I will call them from now on losers, because that's what they are. They're losers.
I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
Oh, good for you.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
The first step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise? Something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
In Wisconsin, the laws are the same for bicyclists and motorists, so if you bike, ride with the traffic and obey signs and lights. Whether you ride a bike or drive a car, you must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians at marked and unmarked crosswalks. At intersections, always look for pedestrians before making a turn, and slow down in school zones and neighborhoods to keep our kids safe. Share and be aware. We're all responsible. Visit shareandbeaware.org to learn more.
You concerned about speaking up at work? Do you feel like you have no say in your day-to-day work routine? Join Teamsters Local 344. Call 414-258-4545. Get a seat at the table. Join your brothers and sisters in negotiating for better wages, hours, and working conditions, and be part of the most powerful union in North America. Teamsters Local 344 covers sales and service throughout Southeast Wisconsin and package and airlines statewide. Contact Teamsters Local 344 at 414-258-4545 or at local344.org.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property, or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009, or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Mark your calendars. Wednesday, November 8th, the ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, a year of resistance at the Italian Conference Center in Milwaukee. Dinner and award ceremony starts at 5. After party starts at 8, Dom.
Crudy, the keynote speaker, is the National ACLU Political Director, Faz Shakir. Tickets for the whole evening, $100 per person, or just come to party with the Devil's Advocates and music from Madison's own Whiskey Farm for just $25.
The ACLU is honoring Planned Parenthood, the NAACP Youth Commandos of 1967, the brave plaintiffs in their case against conditions at Lincoln Hills, and the lead plaintiff in the voter ID case.
The ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, Wednesday, November 8th. Go to aclu-wi.org for tickets and more information.
I only drink when I feel good. I've got what I love and I love what I've got. It just so happens I'm happy a lot.
The Devil's Advocates. political commentary from the back of the class.
Hey, Ike, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got for us today?
Fantastic. Thanks for taking a call. And I got to start off with my favorite wrestler, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
If the Wankinator was a wrestler, who do you think would most personify the current governor?
I got a great name for him, Scott the Shyster Walker. I think that should be his wrestling name.
I think it's already been used. I think it's his skateboard name, sir. Allegedly.
I don't know if you know the Devil's Advocates, but they are kind of a big deal.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, 1510 a.m. WRRD. Also streaming this fine product on YouTube and on Facebook. We're on Twitter at Devil Radio and always on the phones available to you, 844-967-2789.
Dom, some of us are bigger deals than others of us. Did I show you my wanker before?
I've seen your wanker, Crudy.
It is huge.
It's a little yellow. More orange.
My pumpkin, of course, I referenced.
Yes, and which you've put a picture of. You've drawn. You're very artistic, Michael.
That's paint.
A painting of your interpretation of Governor Walker.
The wanker. And we're going to play a little contest. I'm going to hold it off till later. We've started on our Facebook page, both at the Devil's Advocates and also 1510 a.m. WRRD. Of course, I reference Resistance Radio. You're listening right now. But I got a big picture of my wanker up there. And I've got it labeled hashtag wanker says. And I'd like you all to help us with the caption. We'll take this conversation up in the next hour, Dom. But the pumpkin contest, it was, sort of grabbed from where. But since I'm doing it, I'm bringing in my huge wanker. And I'm slapping her up there on the table in front of the window.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I have an enormous wanker.
It's larger than most.
It is ginormous.
It's orange and bulbous.
I don't know how you walk around with that thing.
That thing's got to be 85 pounds. I had to put it in the seat beside me on the drive down this morning. That's how big my wanker is.
Did you have to buckle it up?
I put it on the floor.
No way. I wanted it to go to my head.
So, what did the presidential wanker have to say today, Dom?
It just keeps getting better and better.
Wanker Senior, as, this local guy is sort of Wanker Junior now.
We have lots of sound. The president was very talkative today, but we're going to start kind of in the middle, I think around 91. Fancy Brian Crudy. Of course, all this talk about Trump and Flake and Corker and everybody going after each other. Well, of course, Donald Trump tweeted out Wednesday morning. The reason Flake and Corker dropped out of the Senate race is very simple. They had zero chance of being elected.
Losers.
Now act so hurt and wounded. So apparently the president didn't take to heart any of the sentiment of those two gentlemen in the last few days.
Oh, evil losers.
I mean, not at all. Not at all. Didn't think that maybe he could tone it down, dial it down, aspire to be more than a D-bag.
Get him out.
When there is only a 52-48 majority in the Senate, and you've alienated two of the Republicans, it makes the math even more complex moving forward with your legislative agenda. But I hear tax cuts for the very wealthiest coming next week, Dom. We'll get to those. But let's get to Cheeto Jesus.
You would think that,
the Messiah.
But if you listen to the man, he says there is nothing but great unity. Let's start at 91 and play all four of them in a row.
They have to do their thing. We have great unity. If you look at what happened yesterday at the meeting, we had, I guess, virtually every senator, including John McCain. We had a great conversation yesterday, John McCain and myself, about the military. I called it a love fest. It was almost a love fest. Maybe it was a love fest. But we get standing ovations. There is great unity.
A love fest?
77% of Republicans are still supportive of Donald Trump's agenda.
Well, the agenda. It's their agenda.
I think
Republicans
that means
are
Trump.
fine.
I'll look at the polling that I saw, but I think, it's not just limited to the agenda. 77% of Republicans still supportive of Donald Trump. I would say here in Wisconsin, perhaps more than that.
So it's a love fest.
Hashtag sad.
It's a love fest on the Republican side, notwithstanding Corker and Flake's comments here recently. What about the Dem side? Brian 93, please.
If you look at the Democrats with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, that's a mess. There's great unity in the Republican Party.
No discord at all amongst Republicans. They're all on board. They're all on the Trump train.
Pence. And let's do the final one, please, Brian.
The fact is, there was tremendous unity in that room. And we're really unified. We're really unified on what we want to do. We want tax cuts for the middle class. We want tax cuts for businesses to produce jobs. There's great unity.
Tax cuts for businesses to produce jobs. So I'm not clear if he's saying that any tax cuts to businesses will be required to show employment increasing. And of course, tax cuts for the middle class, well, we all know that the majority of those are going to go towards the 1%. But I'm sensing a theme, Crudy. What would that theme be?
Love.
Unity. Lots of unity. Now, you had two Republican senators peel
got
off
a hug
in the last couple of days. And according to Trump, this is all, they're losers, and everybody else and him, it's a love fest. It's all about the unity. They're all one.
Well, Dom, that's just Steve Bannon taking scalps. You oppose the boss, you will lose. So these losers, this Jeff Flake, this so-called little Bob Corker, well, of course, they're just setting themselves for electoral loss. They're leaving in disgrace, as they should, leaving just the united, the lovers on the Republican side, standing strong
yes,
with their leader in this romantic embrace of Donald Trump.
What a terrible, disgusting thought.
I hope he shows them his small hands and his big wanker pumpkin. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates right here. I only got to work 2 hours today.
Yeah,
so
part-timer.
I'm going to take all the cleverness out of it and leave you with nothing but Dominic later. Got a little speaking engagement later tonight. 2 fine panelists. Our buddy Batman, Matt Rothschild, Wisconsin Democracy Campaign. Lisa Graves, Center for Media and Democracy, be at the Little Schoolhouse in Mount Horeb. That was my alma mater. Play a little football in the town. 88 is great. We always dominate. Come back, more Devil's Advocates. We always dominate. We're kind of a big deal.
There's nobody that's done so much for equality as I have.
Well, I could be wrong, but I believe diversity is an old wooden ship that was used during the Civil War era.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Chris Abley and Board Chair Theo Lipscomb have different plans for Milwaukee County. For the past 6 years, Chris Abley has balanced Milwaukee County's budget, reduced debt, and protected vital services without raising property taxes. Abley's fiscally responsible budget proposal this year continues the progress we've made toward a more sustainable future for Milwaukee County. Abley is putting people back to work, but Theo's cuts would end job training programs. Abley's budget maintained, but Theo Lipscomb has a different plan. Theo isn't willing to make the hard choices and is demanding devastating service cuts to our roads and keeps public transit affordable. But Theo's cuts would slash bus routes and delay road repairs. Abley is fighting to keep our parks and senior centers open, but Theo's cuts could shut them down. And while Abley's budget tackles the opioid epidemic, Theo's cuts would hurt public health and make our communities less safe. Call your county supervisor. Tell them to support Chris Abley's budget for Milwaukee County. Paid for by Chris Abley for County Executive.
This is the People's Sheriff. I need you to keep listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. WRRD, 1510 AM, Waukesha, Milwaukee. Can I count on you?
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward, it's the right way to clean.
If you're like a lot of companies, you know you need IT, but you aren't sure where to start. That's where Five Nines comes in. Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO. For almost 15 years, Five Nines has been providing IT solutions to companies just like yours. We'll show you the solutions that are right for your business and give you the roadmap to success in the future. Find us at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Pete's Fruit Market, a family-owned business serving Milwaukee for more than a generation, now has a brand new second location at the corner of North Avenue and Martin Luther King Drive in Milwaukee's Brunsville neighborhood. The new store is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week and always features the freshest fruits and vegetables at the lowest prices. In addition to offering the best produce, Pete's Fruit Market is also a full-line grocery store featuring fresh meats and delicious deli items. Pete's Fruit Market, Milwaukee's best produce.
It's a lot easier to measure how many times students use a semicolon correctly in an essay.
Educated educators talking education.
Than it is to measure how many wonderful ideas are in that essay.
Busted Pencils.
There is no teacher shortage.
With Dr. Tim Slecker.
There is a teacher exit.
Featuring Matt Damon's mom.
You want to know what my mom would say?
We've had an intrusion into education.
Busted Pencils Radio. Saturdays at 11 on Resistance Radio.
Good afternoon. It is 3:32 for 1510 a.m. WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. A Republican lawmaker wants to stiffen penalties for students who assault teachers. State Representative Jeremy Thiesfeld of Fond du Lac began circulating a new bill for signatures yesterday. Critics say the law would throw more students of color and those with disabilities into the school-to-prison pipeline. Kim Schrader, president of the Milwaukee Teachers Association, told the Journal Sentinel, quote, "This bill would, without a doubt, funnel more vulnerable children into the criminal justice system, especially students with special education needs who are already, statistically, at a much higher risk of incarceration." Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the mid-30s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, highs in the mid-50s. And Friday, mostly cloudy, with a chance of rain in the morning, highs around 50. Currently, it's 50 degrees in Milwaukee and 48 in Waukesha for 1510 a.m. My name is Brian Kelly.
You're listening to the radio show your mother warned you about. Dom and Krutz are the devil's advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Dom, you know I always love me some polling, and I'd like to throw a little polling out there before we torture people with more of the self-aggrandizing sounds of our POTUS.
Very intelligent and very nice President of the United States.
Voters see Trump as reckless, not honest. New political polling out, Dom. Reckless, thin-skinned, not honest, not compassionate, not stable. Those aren't just the extraordinarily harsh judgments of President Donald Trump by two retiring Republican senators on Tuesday. They are also shared by majorities of voters in a new Politico Morning Consult poll. Voters' negative view of Trump's character aren't new. They date back to last year's presidential campaign. And Trump's overall approval rating in the new survey, 42% approve, 53% disapprove, is roughly unchanged over the past few months. More than 3/4 of Republicans, here's the exact figure, Dom, 77% approve of the job Trump is doing as president. 77% of Republicans embrace this man's presidency to date. So I hope I didn't mischaracterize that. I want to go to the source material. Indeed, on most of the character questions in this week's Politico poll, majorities of GOP voters side with Trump, even as the broader pool of voters take a more critical view. The new survey was conducted before GOP Senators Bob Corker of Tennessee and Jeff Flake of Arizona sharply criticized Trump on Tuesday for his personal conduct as president. Still, after a week in which Trump has sparred with the wife and family of an Army sergeant killed in action and been denounced by two high-profile senators in his own party, Trump's negative scores on these questions raise questions about his ability to overcome voter perceptions and turn his presidency around. I want to throw a few more numbers out there.
Turn his presidency around. You know, Trump doesn't think there's anything that needs turning around, with the exception perhaps Congress should bow to his every will.
The most accomplished presidency 9 months in ever, according to Trump's self-assessment. Corker called Trump an utterly untruthful president in a tweet on Tuesday morning, and later said in a CNN interview that Trump has great difficulty with the truth on many issues. Voters mostly agree with the second-term Tennessee senator here, too. Only 35% called Trump honest. 35%! While 51% say he's not honest. Just a third say Trump is trustworthy, to 53% who say he is not. Trump's feud, blah, 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 blah. Only 33% of voters in the new polling say Trump is compassionate. A 52% majority think Trump is thin-skinned. What else?
32% think he's compassionate. I'm just wondering, what about his character or anything that he said or done over the last couple of years would give anybody that indication that he's compassionate?
Okay, I've got like 10 qualities here, Dom. Let's just run it down. You tell me what you think the positive, negative, sort of the over-under would be. Strong leader.
35%.
39% say yes, Trump is a strong leader. 50% say no. We talked about trustworthy. How about knowledgeable, Dom? He went to the best university.
He's very intelligent. Now, if the person being polled is Donald Trump, I'd say 100% think he's intelligent.
42% call him knowledgeable. 46% say not so much. How about too liberal? How many describe Trump as too liberal?
Oh, that might be higher than you would think. What is it?
12%.
Oh, really? I thought it'd be higher.
How many?
But remember some of the rip against him during the Republican primary was that, he gave money to Democrats and he
was a Democrat.
Changes his positions.
Flip-flopper. How many think he's too conservative, Dom?
No, nobody.
26%.
Too conservative. And this is of Republicans?
This is all voters.
This is all voters.
Participating in this newest polling.
Okay.
How about sexist, Dom? What do you think the percentage is of people that think Donald Trump is a sexist?
30%.
50%.
Oh, damn.
There are more women than men in this world and in this country. He should be at 51% sexist
just because of that?
Amongst females.
Come on.
I moved on her like a bitch.
Yes.
State Senator Leah Vukmir challenging our Senator Tammy Baldwin. Well, she supports Trump, so it's not going to be
voted
51.
for Trump, wears a MAGA hat.
Make him proud
on her Facebook
to
page.
vote for Donald Trump.
I'm Senator Leah Vukmir. I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did.
How many describe percentage the president of the United States as a racist?
A racist? I would say close to 50%.
45%, which is greater than the number that think he is not a racist. 45 say yes, a racist. Only 40 say not a racist.
Just misunderstood, a victim of his times.
15.
And we also love Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
15% of voters obviously undecided on that topic.
Puerto Rico.
Dom, what percentage of those polled do you think that Donald Trump keeps his promises?
40%.
0. 34%. How many, and this is probably the most dramatic number we'll end nearly here.
Okay.
But how many think he is reckless?
Ooh,
as a percentage of all voters.
Of all voters, 60%.
Close. 56%. Only 31% feel he is not reckless.
On many sides. On many sides.
So some who think he is a strong leader must also be under the impression that he's reckless. Strong and wrong, baby.
Strong and reckless. That's how we like him now. We wanted change, apparently. The American people, certainly the Trump supporters, they are all down with this, Crudy.
Okay. Running down the list quickly. Honest. Who thinks Trump's honest? 35%. Cares about people like me.
Oh, hell. 30%.
34%.
Yeah.
Compassionate.
34%.
33%. Stable.
Oh, hell no.
33%. And thin-skinned. What percentage of voters think that this man is thinner than the skin on that big wanker pumpkin?
57%.
52%. Those are your numbers.
This is a political poll?
Political Morning Consult poll. Dom, I did not pull up the crosstabs for the metrics, but it seems pretty dramatic. Donald Trump, not a popular president. 1,988 registered voters. A margin of error, just 2%.
Well, he may not be a popular president, Crudy, but if you ask him, Flake, and Corker, the only reason they're getting out is because they're not popular.
He's driving them out.
He's driving them out. They see the writing on the wall, and it's all Trump.
Yes.
Let's hear a little bit about it. We talked about it. We've teased you. More Trump on Flake 95, please, Brian.
His poll numbers in Arizona are so low that he couldn't win, and I don't blame him for leaving. I think he did the right thing for himself. His poll numbers are terrible. He's done terribly for the great people of Arizona, a state that likes Donald Trump very much, as even you will admit, and he would have never won.
You know, the guy just repeats the same thing over and over. I think if he continues to say it, he's convincing himself that he's right.
I think the rattlesnakes and the scorpions, they like Donald Trump just fine.
Let's keep going. Donald Trump on Flake.
His poll numbers are terrible. I wish him well. I really believe he's going to do the right thing for the country. He's going to vote for tax cuts because we desperately need tax cuts to put our people back to work.
He's a loser, but hopefully he'll do the right thing by the country and give tax cuts for the very wealthiest.
And I've seen how this conversation has also morphed, and maybe later we'll get into this a little bit more. What about tax reform? Now it's just tax cuts? Are they
people don't
reforming?
understand reform.
Oh, I see.
People don't give a damn about tax reform. You tell them you're giving them a tax cut, and they think, well, there might be something in it for me. But really, Scotty Wanker, we talked the other day. What was his bright idea? Message about the doubling of the standardized deduction. Do you go to bed at night thinking to myself, man, if some politician would just step up and double the itemized deduction on my taxes? Right?
That would make it all better.
Said no one to their wife across the pillow ever.
Was that the last one? Was that our final? Let's do the final.
Therefore, now it's just tax cuts. Tax cuts for the middle class. But of course, we know they're for the wealthy, for the 1%.
Well, there might be a few bucks in there for the middle class. What's the last Trump on Flake?
I think I'm probably helped greatly in Arizona by what happened with Senator Flake.
It's a positive for Donald Trump. He thinks this culling of the herd is going to benefit him. And Crudy, he might be right. What if he's right? Republicans, have you heard anybody else step up and embrace what Flake and Corker have said? I haven't. I haven't heard Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin try to distance himself in any way, shape, or form from this.
Come on, man. You can't leave your wingman. It's the Ronald and Donald show.
I haven't even heard Tammy Baldwin come out and suggest perhaps Donald Trump step down. I mean, where even on the Democratic side, where are those calling for the impeachment, resignation? I mean, if this is such a big deal, if the Republicans are scared to death, or at least those that are now deciding not to run again, have been freed from the burden of politics and re-election, are free to speak their mind, and are concerned that this man has his fingers on the button and straight up say, no, he is not a role model and he is an untruth teller, where's everybody else? All I hear is silence.
Okay, sure. Criticize the Republicans, Don, but don't tell me that the left's not doing its part. They're not asking for this man's impeachment or stepping down or resignation. Yes, I think Tammy Baldwin and every other good progressive in this nation, in this world, goes to bed each night and prays for the end of the Donald Trump presidency, Dom. It's the Republicans. It's not really about the Democrats' opinions.
Praying. Don't you think it would have maybe more if everybody, all the progressive, all the Dems, even the independents like Bernie Sanders, stood up in one voice and said, this man must go? What do you think that would have
all the Democrats
some resonance with the American people?
Not until after the midterm elections. That will be the campaign issue of the next year. Anyone running for Congress, the metric, the litmus test, to my opinion, I don't know that my opinion matters all that much, But the litmus test is, are you prepared if presented with the evidence of high crimes and misdemeanors, which of course we know will get there, on this president, will you vote to impeach this man? Republicans, Democrats, that is the litmus test in the midterm elections. If you expect Tammy Baldwin and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren to stand on the street corner each day and call for this man's impeachment, I would say, A, it's a little too early.
Tell that to Corker. Tell that to Flake.
Okay, well, when the other Republicans stand up, and quite frankly, why aren't they standing up? Talking about Corker and Flake, why aren't they standing up and leaving their party? I mean, what? If they continue to vote along with this president, if they are only what? They're going to say really strong words and then vote along in lockstep with Trump?
Well, 77% like the job he's doing.
Well, then don't tell me the Dems have any power whatsoever to control the outcome. This is on the Republicans. The Republicans have to impeach Trump, or at least they have to stand up to him. Let's not forget, the Republicans stood up to Nixon. Hence, Watergate ended his career. It wasn't the impeachment that ended it. It was the Republicans. More devil's advocates. We'll be right back. Phone lines open. 844-967-2789. Republicans, impeach now.
And yes, losers. They are losers.
Who's with me? Let's go! Come on!
If I were to guess, I have one name in mind.
I'm Senator Leah Vukmir. I'm voting for Donald Trump.
I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping.
It's a very sad commentary on politics in this country.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
First step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise? Something you want to be held to?
Absolutely. Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
In Wisconsin, the laws are the same for bicyclists and motorists, so if you bike, ride with the traffic and obey signs and lights. Whether you ride a bike or drive a car, you must yield the right of way to pedestrians at marked and unmarked crosswalks. At intersections, always look for pedestrians before making a turn and slow down in school zones and neighborhoods to keep our kids safe. Share and be aware. We're all responsible. Visit shareandbeaware.org to learn more.
I don't know if you know the Devil's Advocates, but they are kind of a big deal.
Well, you guys are having a good show so far.
Hey, could you say that again? Just not for our sake, Paul, but for the sake of the audience.
Yeah, tell everybody once again what a great show we are having.
You guys have a good show almost every day.
Wow, almost. All right, thanks for calling, Paul. I'm just kidding.
Okay, every day.
Tweet some shade at you, Paul.
The Devil's Advocates, weekday afternoons on 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
When you need an attorney, trust the voice of experience. The only choice, Lawton and Cates.
I needed an attorney because I was injured at work. I wanted to find a reputable attorney. The results that I got with Lawton and Cates were very good. I'm very happy with the way I was treated and the end result that I got.
Trust the voice of experience. Call the attorneys at Lawton and Cates. 282-6200. 282-6200.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
I'm not paid to be a role model. Parents should be role models.
The Devil's Advocates, radio for the 99%.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio 1510 AM, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. We're on Twitter at Devil Radio, and on the phones, 844-967-2789.
Dom, we're going to the phones momentarily, but a brief statement from Tammy Baldwin, U.S. Senator.
Yes.
See if her words are harsh enough, if she condemns Trump's actions harshly enough. The undermining of the Obamacare marketplaces, her statement there on September 2017. I am deeply troubled by the Trump administration's plan to slash funding for health insurance outreach and enrollment efforts in 2018 that would help increase participation and stability in the market. President Trump continues to play politics, and these political games have real consequences that are compounding uncertainty in the insurance market and could increase health insurance costs for consumers. By cutting essential insurance navigator programs, which will harm Wisconsin's vital consumer assistance agencies, and threatening to withhold critical cost-sharing payments that help lower costs for more than 110,000 Wisconsinites, the Trump administration is actively creating chaos and disrupting our healthcare system. And then she goes on to say, I would gladly embrace a bipartisan approach like the one with Patty Murray and Senator Alexander.
And I certainly appreciate Senator Baldwin's position on that policy
Not chanting impeach now from the mountaintop, certainly.
Here's my point, Crudy. She would say the same thing if Vice President Pence were the president and he was doing the same thing as Trump. This is not a policy argument. This is whether or not this man is mentally fit to be president. And that's what Corker and that's what Flake are going after. They're not going after his policy issues. They love his policy issues. They're concerned that the man is he's an untruth teller, Crudy. This is not a policy discussion.
So they can't even call the man a liar.
I know, dude. It's crazy.
Oh, they're so brave. And the Democrats, we're so cowardly because we're not out there chanting impeach. Because I think plenty of Dems
are. Do you see my distinction? She's criticizing a policy issue. She's not criticizing the behavior, the mental capacity, the mental state of the president. That's all I'm saying, man.
She's one singular Dem. I just want to see if the words were harsh enough for you. But I would say this, Tom. If you find a few Republicans, I would say it would take about 17 of them that would like to impeach this president. I bet you I can get the Democratic caucus to go along.
All right, we'll work on that.
I mean, I'm no soothsayer.
All right, man, I'm with you.
I bet you, I'd call Harry Reid out of the bullpen. I think we'd get that one done.
844-967-2789. Let's get a couple callers in before the top of the hour. We'll start out of state. Deb from New Orleans. Welcome to the show, Deb. What do you got for us?
Hey, Deb.
Hello?
Hello, Deb. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi. It's Jazz, not Deb.
Oh, hello, Jazz. Oh, we'll put that one on Gary. Go ahead, Jazz. What do you got?
My apologies.
Yeah, Gary blew it again. Normally, I almost always agree with you guys, but on this one, I will say the Democrats have been quite vocal about this. I invite you to look up the record of Senator Ted Lieu, as well as Senator Al Green. Listen to Miss Maxine Waters. I want to say Barbara Boxer also, before she left town, she was shouting from the rooftops. They've known this man to be an out-and-out liar. I won't mince words. He's just an out and out liar with his crumpled up orange cotton candy on his head. I don't care what anyone says. He's unfit, and more people have known about it for a very long time.
But it's going to take Jazz. It's not the Democrats' opinions that matter on this issue, though. We don't have control of anything. The only way Trump gets, quote unquote, impeached in the short run, or perhaps 25th Amendment is if the Republicans point out, the king has no clothes on. He is naked and he is back-guano insane. It doesn't matter what the Democrats say. We aren't convincing anyone. The Republicans have to, they have to be the ones to lead on this issue, or it's going to take a couple more elections, because even with the House, we can't push an impeachment without a supermajority in the Senate, and we might get 50, but we aren't going to get 67. We still need 15, 16, 17 senators at the minimum, and more likely they need to approach the White House. They need to approach Trump. They need to tell him, declare victory, say you've accomplished more than anybody ever, and leave town. Just be done. Declare victory. You win, Donald Trump. I'm tired of all your winning.
I'm so tired.
Why don't you, take that winner and leave town while you're on a hot streak? I got a feeling, Dom, that Robert Mueller might be the cooler.
Nice.
The winning streak, it might come to an end. That's my point. More Devil's Advocates. Our winning streak
goes on and on.
Foreversies. Let's hope. More Devil's Advocates. Hour 2 is next. Your phone calls. Welcome. 844-967-2789.
He's a showboat. He's a grandstander.
Kind of a big deal. People know me.
I know words. I have the best words.
I know. Let's have a spelling contest.
Businesses today thrive and survive with technology. At Five Nines, we provide businesses with the IT tools they need to stay relevant. We offer enterprise-level solutions at competitive prices. I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Let us manage your IT so you can focus on more important things, like running your business. Check us out at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I'm not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Dom and Crute special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. You're neutral to it. You hear it every time you finish a meal and never feel anything. But if we were able to associate this sound with a new stimulus, save the food, we've achieved pulling a natural response from you. Save the food. Why are we doing this, you may ask? Save the food. Because this ad is trying to change your after-meal behavior through brainwashing. Because food waste costs the average family $1,500 a year. Save the food, cha-ching! And $1,500 extra bucks is like getting a pay raise. Save the food, cha-ching! You're promoted. Which could pay for your child's braces. Save the food, cha-ching! You're promoted.
Check out my braces.
So when you hear this sound, rethink your behavior. Cook it, store it, share it. Just don't waste it. For tips and recipes, visit SaveTheFood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD, 1510 AM, Waukesha, Milwaukee.
Obamacare ruling, taxes and spending on Capitol Hill. I'm Michael Toscano. A federal judge has just rejected a request by 18 states to force the federal government to immediately resume paying those health care subsidies that President Trump cut off. U.S. District Judge Vince Chambria in San Francisco ruling the cutoff may continue while the matter remains under litigation. The payments reimburse insurers for subsidizing out-of-pocket costs to low-income consumers covered by Obamacare. The 18 states charge Trump is illegally sabotaging the Affordable Care Act, creating higher costs. With House Speaker Paul Ryan saying today that Obamacare repeal and replace is off the table until sometime next year, Congress is speeding up its work on tax and budget issues. Ivanka Trump on Capitol Hill pushing a plan for expanding the child tax credit.
Today, in the vast majority of American homes, all parents work. Our tax code has to recognize and support this reality and support our dual values of work and a family.
The first daughter working with Senator Marco Rubio on the tax credit, he says he thinks it will make it into the final tax reform plan. Senator John McCain, chairman of the Armed Services Committee, says Congress is moving toward finalizing a full defense authorization bill. McCain says the inability of Congress to pass full budgets in recent years, relying on temporary measures, has harmed our military readiness and troops.
In recent months, more young Americans have been killed and wounded because of a lack of readiness, because of a lack of training, because of a lack of organization, and that is not something that we should subject the young men and women who are serving in uniform to.
Wall Street just had its worst day in several weeks on bad earnings reports. The Dow Jones Industrial Average followed up yesterday's record close with a loss of 112 points. The S&P 500 dragged down 12 points. The Nasdaq fell 35. Word today that rock and roll pioneer Fats Domino died at age 89. I'm Michael Toscano.
Ransomware is software that can infiltrate your business through email, enabling cyber criminals to hijack sensitive information as ransom for your own data's release. Leveraging Barracuda email security with advanced threat detection can stop a ransomware attack in its tracks. As an added measure, Barracuda Backup allows you to recover your data without having to surrender to extortion. Crime doesn't pay when you protect your business data with Barracuda. Go to barracuda.com/ransomware to learn more.
This is Charles Osgood. Since auto owners insurance began in 1916, the world has entered the information age of computers, email, and smartphones. While technology continues to advance, we believe people help people best. That's why you'll only find auto owners insurance from your local independent agent, a real person who protects your life, family, and business. Auto owners insurance, 100 years of putting people first.
In Richland, call the Goplin Insurance Agency at 608-647-2114.
Rock and roll losing one of its founders, Fats Domino, who mixed New Orleans traditions with rhythm and blues and his own style and sold more rock and roll in the 1950s than anybody but Elvis, has died. Scott Carr now on the rich musical legacy of Fats Domino.
Rolling Stone magazine wrote that after John Lennon and Paul McCartney, Fats Domino and his partner Dave Bartholomew were probably the greatest team of songwriters ever.
I found my thrill.
Blueberry Hill, Walking to New Orleans, I'm Walking, Blue Monday, just some of their hits to feature a signature combination of a simple melody, hip set of chord changes, and a cool groove.
Ain't that a shame?
One of Domino's daughters says he was surrounded by family and friends and died peacefully. Considered one of the pioneers of rock and roll, Domino was honored with the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 1987. I'm Scott Carr.
Fats Domino, born, raised, and lived his whole life in New Orleans. I'm Michael Toscano.
Hello, beautiful. I'm Amy Errett, founder of Madison Reed, a hair color company I named after my daughter. I founded Madison Reed with the idea to create luxurious, ammonia-free, salon-quality, at-home hair color that saves women time and money. Thanks to all of you, it's working. From New York to Florida, California to North Dakota, women all over the U.S. are trying and loving Madison Reed. Whether you're a busy mom, an executive, or a beauty fanatic, this is hair color that gives you the freedom to do more of what you love. This is hair color for all. In under an hour and less than $25, Madison Reed delivers gorgeous, multi-dimensional, shiny hair. Join the hundreds of thousands of women who have discovered a better way to color. Find your perfect shade at madison-reed.com and get 10% off plus free shipping on your first color kit. Use code GOODHAIR. That's code GOODHAIR.
Good afternoon. It is 4:05 for 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. The cost of misconduct by Milwaukee police officers over the past 2 years will cost taxpayers over $21 million. The amount includes about $17.5 million for settlements and almost $4 million for interest and attorney's fees, according to the Journal-Sentinel. Since the city sets aside only $1.2 million a year for police misconduct cases, Milwaukee has had to borrow money to make the payments. In some cases, the costs keep adding up as the city fights the case years after an officer is fired or convicted. Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the mid-30s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, highs in the mid-50s. And Friday, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain in the morning, highs around 50. Currently 50 degrees in Milwaukee and 49 in Waukesha. It's sunny in both places. For 1510 AM, WRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. And Dom, we've had a few patient people holding. We'll go to the phones almost immediately here. 844-967-2789. Be like Philip from Waukesha. Join us on the air. Philip, welcome. What's your thought today?
Hey, hi, guys. Couple of thoughts for you. First of all, as far as the senators coming out against Trump and everything, we got to take that with a grain of salt. Two of them are not going to be running next year. They're not going to try to get reelected, so they have nothing to lose. The only problem is even though they're coming out against them, they're still Republicans. Last night they voted to basically get rid of the Seventh Amendment. They voted strictly party line. They're not going to change. Just like when we talk about how Barry Goldwater went to Nixon and told him to resign. He didn't do that until Nixon's butt was cooked already. None of these we can't depend on the Republicans to get Trump out of there. They are not going to do anything. They're just as shameless as he is. They're just not as outspoken about it with their lies. They lie every day. We know their agenda. They're working for the millionaires and billionaires, and that's all they care about. And just like with this tax plan, it's going to be taking $2.5 trillion from Medicare and Medicaid, so they can give a tax break to the rich people. And then one other statement that I would just like to make, as far as Trump goes, just you might think this is kind of funny and everything, but I just wanted to make a statement that we keep talking about the psychoanalyzing Donald Trump, and I just feel that Donald Trump is brain dead. You just look at what he does. He doesn't think. He doesn't reason. He's not curious about anything. He's totally reactionary. He's like an amoeba. He's a one-celled creature that all he does is react to things. When someone says something about him, he says something nasty. He's just incapable of thinking. I mean, it's just kind of interesting when you really think about it. He's absolutely null and void. And the sad part is 70-some% of Republicans think this guy's doing a great job. And the only thing that's going to save us is if we can get him out there earlier than that is Mueller. They have to get him on something in this investigation because I think people are naive thinking that there's going to be a group of 17 or 20 or whatever Republicans that are going to come out against what they believe to get rid of this guy, because when you get down to it, they're no better than Trump is.
Well, sure, Philip.
What do you think?
Hang on 1 second. I want to ask you some questions, if I may. You make some great points. What do you think the proper resistance is? Is it to go after the policy issues like Tammy Baldwin did, the senator from Wisconsin, with regards to his efforts on the Affordable Care Act? Or do you go after Donald Trump, again, in a resistance mode, personally, to his character or lack thereof, to his mindset? What do you think is more effective, or do both need to be done?
Well, the sad part is that we can resist, but the damn thing is that we lost power in the House and Senate. I mean, we're the Democrats have their hands and legs tied behind their backs. I think what the people need to do, as far as the resistance go, is to go after Trump. He needs to be made fun of. He needs to be called out on everything that we can't pussyfoot around and say, well, he misspoke. The guy is a liar. He's not intelligent. We have to go after him, because that's what really bothers him. I mean, the guy, gets up and tweets at the littlest thing anybody ever says about him. And, maybe to make another mistake or to do something. I mean, hopefully it doesn't destroy the world, but that's the way you get at this guy. He's a bully. And bullies don't like to be, don't like resistance. And I think we've got to keep doing this. And the other thing I think we need to do, just little things. We got to stop calling this guy President Trump. He's Trump. He's not a president. He's not my president. He's a fake president. And we've just got to disrespect the hell out of this guy. And, the only problem is that, we kind of depend on the national media. And who runs the national media? Petrochemical companies, the Koch brothers. It's stations like yours and some of the radio and the different newspapers. And, of course, Trump supporters don't read, so that you can't go after that. So he's just got to be made fun of. He's got to be taken as a joke and disrespected anytime. I mean, if he even, I don't think we'd ever do it, but if he goes to a sports game, boo him. Make fun of him, as much as possible. And as far as the resistance goes, join organizations to fight, to call your senators, to call your representatives, and basically just be pains in the ass to these guys.
My thoughts exactly, Philip. I got my life invested currently in being a pain in the ass, not just to Trump, but also to Scotty Wanker. I've already found a good one for the Wankinator. I'm done calling him the goob. He's just the Wankinator from here forward.
So, I mean, you agree with Philip's assessment then? Essentially disrespect him. Don't give him any sort of props for being president. He's Trump. He's deranged. He's unqualified. And he has no business being where he is.
Every fiber of my being tells me just stand here and give the man the middle finger.
Recently, look back at the ending of Kid Rock's campaign. It ended basically because he was booed in favor of Eminem.
Ah, that's right.
I mean, that get him in a situation where he gets booed, and he always goes to crowds where everybody loves him and gets everybody out who doesn't.
Are we talking about Trump or the Wankinator now?
Both of them. Why not?
Right.
I don't think either go out into uncontrolled crowds. Friendly crowds, sure. Campaign rally for Trump, oh, that's home. But he wouldn't go out there. I mean, there's no way in hell you'll see the president or the gubernator out there in some sort of massive public setting where they could get booed or worse.
That doesn't make for a great campaign commercial when it's run against them.
Probably not. Dom, let's talk about some of the breaking news overnight. The PP file.
The PP file?
The
PP
dossier.
Tape?
Well, apparently it's true. And the newest news, Dom, it was funded by Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Callum Borcher's The Washington Post from this morning, when BuzzFeed published that now infamous dossier of unproven claims about Donald Trump and Russia in January. Former Hillary Clinton campaign aides expressed outrage that news outlets that had obtained the dossier before Election Day did not make its contents public in time to influence voters, and Clinton later aired the same grievance in her book about the presidential race. It turns out that the reaction of the Democratic presidential nominee and her team was disingenuous. The Washington Post reported Tuesday night that the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee helped fund the dossier compiled by a former British intelligence officer through a law firm hired to conduct opposition research. The Clinton camp left out its own role in the dossier's creation as it ripped the media for sitting on information that journalists had been unable to verify. What Clinton and her advisors presented as their judgment that the media had made the wrong call was, in fact, their frustration at having failed to plant negative news reports before ballots were cast. Recall that BuzzFeed published a dossier in full on January 10th after CNN reported that the FBI had briefed President Barack Obama and then President-elect Trump on its contents. Many journalists criticized BuzzFeed's decision, arguing that news outlets should not spread claims they can't corroborate, even if the FBI considers the claim significant enough to share with the president and his soon-to-be successor. But Clinton press aides Brian Fallon and Nick Merrill contended on Twitter that the real journalistic malpractice was not publishing information contained in the dossier earlier. Merrill was referring to the New York Times, which reported on October 31st of 2016 that the FBI had chased a lead, which they ultimately came to doubt, about a possible secret channel of email communications from the Trump Organization to a Russian bank. Journalist Franklin Foer had reported on the possible secret channel in Slate earlier in the day. Also that day, Mother Jones magazine reported that a former senior intelligence officer for a Western country had provided the FBI with memos based on his recent interactions with Russian sources, contending the Russian government has for years tried to co-opt and assist Trump, and that the FBI requested more information from him. The memos comprised the dossier that BuzzFeed later published.
Now, Dominic, the title of this Colum Borchers piece, Hillary Clinton's Disingenuous Dossier Outrage. And I know you've been lighting my ass up all day long on this. Oh, Crudy, it's just the same.
I didn't say it's the same. I said it's in the same ballpark.
Well, when you're trying to pick a fight, you make some analogies, and you have implied to me earlier today that it's in the same ballpark.
Yes.
Is the alleged Russian collusion between the Trump team
and
specifically the meeting of Trump Jr. with the Russian lawyer at the Trump Tower.
Yes.
And I would tell you, not even close.
Why is it different?
First of all, this MI6 actor, this Christopher Steele, was acting as a private citizen, perhaps a consultant, an investigator. But the fact that he is from a foreign country bears little import
if it
on
was,
the story.
If it was flipped around and Trump was using a former Russian spy who is now on his own as an individual, right, hired through a third-party attorney firm to do that, is it all okay then? I mean, I'm just where do you draw the line between using foreign sources to dig up dirt on your opponents, whether or not Trump Jr. did it in the tower with the Russian lawyer who claimed to be not working for the Russian government?
Or, as CNN is reporting at this very second, the CEO of an analytics company linked to the Trump campaign contacted WikiLeaks in 2010 regarding thousands of Hillary Clinton's email, sources say. So, is it all the same?
I'm suggesting, and this is what I'll throw out there, and if someone has comment, I'd like to hear it, 844-967-2789. Number one, the campaign, I guess it was the attorney specifically, lied about this for over a year. When asked about this, told Washington Post reporters that no, your sources are wrong, that's incorrect.
As Borchers describes in his piece, note that Clinton described the dossier only as having been prepared by a well-respected former British spy, as if the spy Christopher Steele had acted on his own. Clinton certainly gave no indication that her campaign helped finance his work. There is a fundamental contradiction here. Clinton wanted the dossier to be viewed as credible, yet she did not want to be connected to it. She hoped the media before Election Day would publish claims about Trump to which she was unwilling to attach her own name. Well, where was Tim Kaine? Isn't that what the number 2 is all about? Isn't he supposed to be the bird dog?
The hatchet man?
Yeah. Well, here's the point, and I get your point, Dom. It all seems very bad. But when we come back, I'm going to give you a counter thought.
All right.
Paul Waldman at the Washington Post, GOP spin about the new Steele dossier story is disingenuous nonsense. Come back with us, Devil's Advocates.
But there's nothing I can think of that I'd rather do than have Russia friendly. Russia, if you're listening.
Why didn't somebody tell me my ass was so big?
Это shoe advocado of diavolo.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
The first step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise, something you want to be held to?
Absolutely. Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property, or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009, or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hi, I'm Brian Kelly, and I'm host of the Wisconsin News Hour weekdays from 2 to 3 on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. Join me as I talk about politics with a focus on local news.
Man, I've got certain information, all right? Certain things have come to light.
I know enough to know what I don't know, which is more than I can say for most people.
Forget it, Donnie, you're out of your element.
The Wisconsin News Hour with Brian Kelly, weekdays from 2 to 3 on 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Going through divorce is a very emotional time in someone's life, and when I went through my first divorce, I really needed someone to help me through the legal aspects of what my rights were. That's why I got in contact with Lawton & Cates.
The attorneys at Lawton & Cates. It's who you turn to for legal advice. 282-6200 or lawtoncates.com.
When you need an attorney, trust the voice of experience. The only choice, Lawton & Cates.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call a number on the for sale sign?
Great question. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you the home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner to buy that house at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust.
Like you?
Like me. I will find the home that best fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from the offer through closing day. And the best part is that the buyer doesn't have to pay a dime for me to represent them.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty, 608-284-9311, or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
When they go low, we get high. Dom and Krutz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, 1510 AM. Also on the phones, 844-967-2789.
My bad, dude. I turned on my microphone before I turned on your microphone.
That's why I don't like having you, control the mics.
I was so eager to talk about my giant wanker. Pumpkin.
Your pumpkin?
What would Wanker say? Wanker says, that is the pumpkin contest. I've got it posted. Our Facebook page, Devil's Advocates, WRD 1510 AM Facebook page. I'll give away 2 super sexy black WRD Resistance Radio polos on Halloween Day. A, best political pumpkin. And B, best caption for Wanker Says.
Hashtag Wanker Says. Now, are these...
I also like to think, but Wanker Says what?
Is this challenge posted on the Facebook page? And
it is.
Is it pinned to the top?
It is on the WRD 1510
All right,
AM page.
go there and check it out.
And before I discredit everything you said in the last segment, I got some breaking news. I got some polling that fits nicely with the 420 segment here.
Ooh.
Poll, growing number of Americans support marijuana legalization.
Yes.
Including Republicans.
What?
Dom, this is going to be some massive news. And it has all happened, all the change. And there has been a significant shift in opinion polls ever since Donald Trump became the president. I would just remind all you people, everyone needs something to get them through the night. A record high number, emphasis on the high, a record high number of respondents to Gallup poll released Wednesday said they support the legalization of marijuana, including, and here's the stunning part, more than half of Republicans. 51% of Republicans now claim they believe in the legalization of marijuana.
Full-on legalization, not just medicinal.
Full on.
Right
Overall,
on.
64% of those reached by Gallup said they support the legalization of marijuana. That part's up 4 percentage points since October of 2016, right before Trump got elected. The greater overall public has shifted 4 points towards legalization. Amongst Republicans, Dom, I believe it's a 9-point swing.
Damn.
Yeah. Republicans, since Trump has become the president, yes, a 9-point increase in support of legalization amongst Republicans in 1 year. Thank you, Donald Trump.
Well, maybe thank you, Colorado. Thank you for the states for being those incubators of democracy, showing that, yes, we can legalize a safe drug, tax it, regulate it, and get some money from the state, cut back on unneeded incarceration. Because, hell, Crudy, when the government tries to put their foot on your neck for a reason like illegal marijuana, when there's no reason in hell it should be illegal, it's just another form of fascism.
Buddy, we would raise, even under the most conservative Wankinator estimates, $138 million per annum just in the state of Wisconsin by legalizing marijuana. Come to the green side, you Republicans.
They're getting there.
51% support.
They're getting there.
64% overall. Legalize now. Come back with us. I'm going to completely destroy Dominic's earlier statements about Hillary Clinton's support for this Russian dossier, because the big question is, so what? More of us. WRD 1510 AM, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.
Good people don't smoke marijuana.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Give me a break.
They are a breath of fresh air.
Hi, I'm Crudy. I'm here with Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Local 344. Bill, why are you union? Teamster strong.
Well, Crudy, our strength comes from our membership. The Teamsters are North America's strongest labor union with 1.4 million members.
Bill, what does the Teamsters do for the next generation?
The same thing that the Teamsters have done for the last 100 years, assisting groups of workers in negotiating improvements in their wages, hours, and working conditions.
Where do people go if they want to know more about the Teamsters, more about joining the union?
There's 3 easy options. They can call Local 344 at 414-258-4545. They can contact us through our website. That's local344.org. Local, the number is 344.org, or they can contact us through the Local 344 Facebook page.
Be union strong. Join Teamsters 344. Be like Crudy. Be like News Talk 1510 AM. Stand with the unions. Join the Teamsters. Local344.org.
Well, you are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD, 1510 AM, Milwaukee, Waukesha. Ooh, I just felt a trickle down.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward, it's the right way to clean.
Chris Abley and Board Chair Theo Lipscomb have different plans for Milwaukee County. For the past 6 years, Chris Abley has balanced Milwaukee County's budget, reduced debt, and protected vital services without raising property taxes. Abley's fiscally responsible budget proposal this year continues the progress we've made toward a more sustainable future for Milwaukee County. Abley is putting people back to work, but Theo's cuts would end job training programs. Abley's budget maintained, but Theo Lipscomb has a different plan. Theo isn't willing to make the hard choices and is demanding devastating service cuts to our roads and keeps public transit affordable. But Theo's cuts would slash bus routes and delay road repairs. Abley is fighting to keep our parks and senior centers open, but Theo's cuts could shut them down. And while Abley's budget tackles the opioid epidemic, Theo's cuts would hurt public health and make our communities less safe. Call your county supervisor. Tell them to support Chris Abley's budget for Milwaukee County. Paid for by Chris Abley for County Executive.
The Devil's Advocates.
Well, if the rapture comes, I hope they take me and leave Dom.
If the rapture comes, we'll be here tomorrow, Mike, taking your calls. We certainly appreciate it. 844-967-2789.
Come on, man. You must mean the royal we.
So relevant, they have 1 foot in tomorrow.
Hey, if you want to go meet your maker, Crudy, don't let me stop you.
I'm your maker, man.
844.
You've already met him.
Good afternoon. It is 4:32 for 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. Reince Priebus has a new job. Former White House Chief of Staff and former Chairman of the Republican National Committee has rejoined the Milwaukee-based law firm of Michael Best and Friedrich, where he used to be a partner before he left to lead the Republican Party. The firm said Priebus will be president and chief strategist at their Washington, D.C. offices. Bucks play the Celtics tomorrow. They beat Charlotte on Monday, 103-94. They are at home. In the World Series, the Astros lost to the Dodgers 3-1 Game 1. They play Game 2 tonight. Rich Hill taking on Justin Verlander there. Tonight, mostly cloudy, lows in the mid-30s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, highs in the mid-50s. And Friday, mostly sunny, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain in the morning, highs around 50. Currently, it's 48 degrees in Waukesha, 49 in Milwaukee. For 1510 AM WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, I'm Brian Kelly.
The Devil's Advocates. Rock and roll political commentary in a top 40 world.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. You can join us, 844-967-2789. But Dom, before we get back to the phones, let me just discredit everything you said prior. If I may, give me just a minute, and then we'll take some phone calls.
Give it a shot,
and
man.
others can discredit you as well.
Well, I'll reply, and then we'll see.
I'll use Paul Waldman's plumb line at the Washington Post. GOP spin about the new Steele dossier story is disingenuous nonsense. There may be no talent the Republican Party and the conservative movement have that is more astounding than the way they are able to take a ludicrous idea with zero relationship to actual facts, light a fuse on it, and turn it into an explosive firework of spin that manages to confuse everyone who tries to look at the issue that started the whole controversy. Right now, we're getting a look at one of those projects in the form of the reaction we're seeing to the news that Hillary Clinton's campaign and the Democratic National Committee helped pay for research that ultimately resulted in the infamous Steele dossier. I prefer to call it the PP tapes. We're going to walk through the actual facts, not only to get clear what's true and what isn't, but also to understand how the Republican obfuscation effort is being implemented. The dossier in question compiled research into President Trump's connections to Russia that were prepared during the presidential election by a former British intelligence agent. It became public in January of this year, and it was subsequently found to contain some information that was later confirmed, some speculation that was unsupported, and my favorite, Dom, some salacious rumors about Trump and Russian prostitutes that, while irresistible to Crudy, couldn't be confirmed and ultimately aren't that meaningful. Now I'm going to jump ahead in the piece, and I will need your help. I'm going to have you read on behalf of the White House. But, Dom, as I read right here, just so you know where I'm picking up here,
man.
That was just 3 months ago. So the fact that Clinton camp did opposition research can't be the scandal. Is the scandal that there are some wild charges in the Steele dossier? So what? The Clinton campaign didn't leak them to the press, use them in ads, or make any other use of them. The document came out after Trump was already elected when BuzzFeed published it on January 10th. But none of that matters to Republicans who are now trying to argue that the story proves that there's nothing to the Russia scandal and the whole thing is Hillary Clinton's fault anyways. Dossier deceit, screams the headline of the story at the top of FoxNews.com. There are 3 separate articles about it dominating the front page of Breitbart. Clinton DNC paid for dirt, Russian dossier, says the huge headline on the Drudge Report, illustrated with a photo of Vladimir Putin whispering into Hillary Clinton's ear.
I will continue. Crudy, that photo may tell us something important about what the GOP conservative media strategy is now. You might watch for Republicans to start referring to it as the Russian dossier, as though it were not a dossier about Trump's connections to Russia, but something that Clinton had cooked up with Putin. The real Russian scandal? Clinton campaign paid for fake Russia dossier, then lied about it and covered it up, tweeted White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders. Bombshell, Clinton DNC funded Russian dossier research, said the RNC Ari Fleischer, who was George W. Bush's. Sarah Sanders made it explicit, linking the Post article and tweeting, hard to read this without concluding Clinton campaign colluded with Russia to interfere in U.S. election. Collusion. Dossier of Russian-generated dirt on Donald Trump was paid for by Hillary Clinton and funneled through Comey. Priceless, tweeted Laura Ingraham. If you try hard to give them the benefit of the doubt and assume they have something resembling a coherent argument here,
they don't.
It seems to be that since the Clinton campaign was indirectly paying Steele, and since his attempt to determine the extent of Trump's dealings in Russia, Steele spoke to Russian sources, then that means Hillary Clinton colluded with Russia? That is positively insane.
Well, there's more. You can read it. We've posted it. Paul Waldman's piece at the Washington Post at our Facebook page, The Devil's Advocates Radio.
Now, I want to be clear on my position here. I am not saying that the fact that the Hillary Clinton and the DNC funded this thing and then, of course, lied or omitted telling people that after the fact. And that in doing so somehow discredits the FBI investigation and the independent investigation to the dealings of Donald Trump.
Clarify your
I don't
point,
think those
please.
things are related whatsoever. My position is that all the outrage of Donald Trump Jr. meeting with a Russian attorney in Trump Tower was just so terrible. Why would you do that using foreign sources? That whole thing is exactly, in my own mind,
foreign sources this is not equitable at all.
Okay, I would compare to you. Steele was a former British agent. Is
there any evidence he acted
the Russian attorney was a
Putin agent? By all accounts that I've read.
Well, that's okay, but that's not been proven. And if it were to be the case,
was she arguing on behalf?
If she was a former Putin agent, Crudy, is it better then?
How about if she's a current Putin agent arguing on behalf of the dissolving or the elimination of Magnitsky Act sanctions? What if she's there as an official Russian actor? Then does it matter?
Yes.
Then is it collusion? Because that's what's being alleged.
Yes, I would say that would be more of an issue. But,
a state actor of Russia is not the same as a former MI6 guy from our ally.
Oh, okay. So I want to be very clear.
Britain.
So you can coordinate and get information and dirt on your political enemies from
people do it all the time.
From a friendly foreign source, not an adversarial foreign source.
Well, I would say there is a distinction to be made between the English and the Russians. Sure. One is under sanctions. and one is not.
So then it doesn't matter then, the fact that you can get information from anyone, any country, and it's all okay.
If they are under sanctions, if it's North Korea, no, I'm going to have an issue with that. If it's China, also an issue. Russia, an issue.
Okay, but what about
if it's England, Australia, or the European Union countries?
Australia, or any European
NATO
ally
country?
or any NATO ally getting their mitts into our domestic U.S. elections, you're okay with that?
How about the Israelis?
As long as they're an ally?
How about the Mossad that gave information that Donald Trump just promptly turned around and gave to Russian spies in the Oval Office? And
okay, but you're diverting.
No one
so
wears
you're okay with that.
I can't even get that sentence to completion.
Well, you're spitting the conversation, Crudy. I want to understand from you: is it okay ever for a foreign country to be involved any way, shape, or form with current agents or former agents to dig up dirt on your political enemy here within the United States?
Are you investigating something overseas? And apparently they were. The actions of Trump, whether or not he's being blackmailed, pressured by the Russians. So you could say there is information that came from Russia through a quote-unquote friendly source, a former MI6 agent, and you could say that the Clinton campaign, indirectly or directly, I don't give a damn how they were paid, you could say she paid for this dirt on the Trump campaign. But what dirt did she use on Donald Trump? No ads. None of it was used.
No, but
none of it was weaponized.
All this righteous indignation when Trump Jr. met with the Russians and Trump
It goes
Tower.
beyond a simple meeting at Trump Tower. It goes to the actions of a foreign actor. It wasn't like England was trying to overturn our elections. Russia, on the other hand, was trying to do so. They were using various tentacles, many of which were embracing the Trump administration or the Trump campaign at that time. Paul Manafort, Michael Flynn, Carter Page, Jeff Sessions. I mean, you go through a litany, and many of these people still work in the government for Trump. That is different than someone hiring a investigator who happens to be British reporting on information that Trump is being blackmailed by the Russians, and many of the information contained in this dossier have been substantiated. It'd be different if it was false or erroneous. Other than the PP part, so far we think it's good as gold.
844-967-2789. Let's get some callers' opinions.
You disingenuous
on
conservative
this
righty.
Issue. Oh, give me a break, man. You know what? Let me tell you something. We're not even getting to it, but this whole uranium thing with Secretary of State Clinton,
that would be
and Barack Obama,
a different issue, perhaps
investigation.
with
But Manafort and Podesta's brother apparently had some interactions.
That would be a different story, but that's not what you're trying to analogize.
But my point is, Crudy, it seems to me that a lot of these people that are running the country, a lot of these 1%ers, a lot of the very highfalutin people that can jump on a plane and borders don't matter because cash rolls across all borders. It seems like they're the ones pulling the strings and everyone's in bed together. And we're down here trying to figure out what the hell is going on, fighting each other for the scraps. I have a problem with this entire thing. But I'll back off from that, and we'll get some facts specifically about Manafort uranium, Hillary Clinton, and Clinton's initiative that received $500,000 from the Russians at the same time.
Ask a quick question. Is Hillary Clinton alleged to have broken any laws by paying for this information?
Not that I'm aware of.
How about Donald Trump? Is there any alleged conspiracy, perhaps obstruction of justice?
Yes, there's investigations happening.
Do you think that any of it will bear fruit? Do you think there's more than a little bit of smoke there?
Yes, I do.
Do you think there are actual crimes, perhaps allegedly, against this president or his son or his son-in-law or any of the many, many tentacles of his campaign that were attached to the Russians?
Sure.
And do you take any issue with the fact that it is perhaps the Russians that were trying to influence the outcome through troll farming, through a variety of different means? Is that different than hiring an investigator?
Do you think the Russians were only trying to influence out through the Republican side? Do you think the Russians would use every tool in their
I think
box?
they went after Hillary Clinton's emails and released them through WikiLeaks, and CNN reports today that the Trump team was trying to get the emails from WikiLeaks. Stolen emails. Hacked emails. They were just fine with that. They were seeking out stolen, hacked information. No allegations against Hillary Clinton doing so through paid-for Trump dossier, is there? No allegations of hacking or theft, is there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so it's a different
Are
story.
there investigations started by the Republicans now going into what happened with the uranium deal and investigations into Bill Clinton's or at least
and that's a different story, and I might
receiving $500,000 from the Russians. Come on, it's all part of the same story.
There might be some there on the uranium story, but this paying for the Trump dossier in full or part is not the equitable as Donald Trump colluding or conspiring or committing treason with the Russians. Those are not the same thing.
Donald Trump said he took the meeting because they were going to get some dirt on
Hillary. I'm
Hillary.
talking about Trump Jr. I'm talking about the big cheese.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's get to the phones.
844-967-2789. We're going to start it with Matt from Hartford. Hey, Matt, welcome to the show. What do you think?
Hey, guys. Yeah, so Crudy's kind of run over my points a couple times, but you absolutely, I don't know why you wouldn't consider the source. It's not like this guy who wrote the dossier came to them with dirt. Hey, look what I've got. I conspiratorially get this stuff together. He was a subcontractor of a subcontractor of a manager of a larger organization of a candidate. Meanwhile, somebody who identified themselves as speaking for the Russian state, a state that, oh, by the way, was under sanctions from the United States, which that's what, 4 countries in the entire world, comes to you and says, I've got this. And Trump Jr., his son-in-law, and the campaign manager themselves say, basically, I love it. Let's get down to this. I mean, that, yeah, I don't, it's not equitable. I'm loving it. Yeah.
Here, let me just read briefly from the letter released, and I found this on Kenneth Vogel from the Washington Post. This is
New York Times.
I'm sorry, the New York Times? I thought it was with the Post. Fusion GPS approached Perkins Coie in early of March of 2016, and aware that they represented the DNC and Hillary Clinton for America, with respect to 2016 elections, expressed interest in an engagement with the firm in connection with the 2016 presidential election to continue research regarding then presidential candidate Donald Trump, research that Fusion GPS had conducted for one or more other clients during the Republican primary contest. So Fusion GPS was absolutely shopping this thing around, and the DNC's and Hillary for America's attorneys took the meeting.
You mean after
one would say
Republican opponents to Donald Trump stopped paying, then the Democrats started paying the tab?
Yes.
Okay.
And where is Fusion GPS located?
I think they're D.C. based.
Yeah, so that's not exactly a foreign power then, shopping around information.
But if they hire former intelligence, I get it. But let me ask you: if they hire former intelligence agents to do their digging, you're okay with that?
Are they former KGB agents?
Does it matter?
Yes.
Why?
Well, so if you no matter what if you were ever with the government, you're then always tarnished by being with the government?
I'm unclear. I'm just looking for some sort of standard to apply across the board for Republicans and Democrats. Man, I'm just looking for some consistency, Matt.
When the Democrats start hiring KGB agents, then you got something to whine about. When Hillary Clinton goes in the Oval Office and starts betraying Israeli intelligence to Sergei Kislyak, who I know may not be a spy, doesn't wear a I'm a spy thing on his name tag, but is reputedly a spy. You know the old saying, once in the KGB, always in the KGB. Go ahead, you talk, Matt.
No, how come the Republicans themselves, in defending Trump Jr., actually tried to turn this back on the Obama State Department, saying why was this Zelensky or whatever, the Russian lawyer, why was she even allowed in the country? They certainly felt there was some there as to how much clout she had in the quote-unquote spy world. That was actually a leg of their argument to try to deflect from the fact that Trump Jr. basically said, yeah, I'm down for collusion with a state that's under sanction by this country.
Well, collusion isn't the crime. Conspiracy is the crime, and obstruction of justice when the president wrote a letter on behalf of his son claiming a false pretense. Sure, Hillary didn't fully disclose that her campaign had paid for this Russian PP dossier. But Donald Trump Jr.'s old man wrote a get-out-of-jail-free card for the son. That's obstruction of justice. That is a crime in and of itself. You know, let's set aside the whole Comey firing and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to have a hard time making this point. I feel quite confident. Even Super Dave agrees with me as he tweets out, Tom, you're being stupid. More devil's advocates. 844-967-2789. I will resist the temptation.
Yeah, bring it.
For a rare occasion. WRD 1510 AM. I'll let you guys insult Dom for a change.
but there's been no collusion, no obstruction, and virtually everybody agrees to that.
And if it is Russia, which is probably not, nobody knows who it is.
If I were to guess, I have one name in mind.
He was literally breathing down my neck. My skin crawled.
I moved on her like a bitch.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
Hi, I'm Todd Stryker, President and CEO of Five Nines. Have you got your head in the clouds on how to manage IT for your enterprise? We can make your dreams a reality. With our enterprise cloud technology, consulting, servers, networks, and hosting, we'll manage your IT so you can focus on running your business. Consider Five Nines your personal enterprise IT solution. Enjoy technology. For more information, visit fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
In Wisconsin, the laws are the same for bicyclists and motorists, so if you bike, ride with the traffic and obey signs and lights. Whether you ride a bike or drive a car, you must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians at marked and unmarked crosswalks. At intersections, always look for pedestrians before making a turn, and slow down in school zones and neighborhoods to keep our kids safe. Share and be aware. We're all responsible. Visit shareandbeaware.org to learn more. Hello, my name is Earl Ingram, morning show host on Resistance Radio 1510 AM WRRD at a new time slot, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Monday through Friday, Saturdays noon to 3. Join us at 844-967-2789, 844-967-2789. Stream us at newstalk1510am.com. Spread the word. Earl Ingram on Resistance Radio 1510 AM WRRD 7 to 9. I'm back. Pete's Fruit Market, a family-owned business serving Milwaukee for more than a generation, now has a brand new second location at the corner of North Avenue and Martin Luther King Drive in Milwaukee's Brunsville neighborhood. The new store is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week and always features the freshest fruits and vegetables at the lowest prices. In addition to offering the best produce, Pete's Fruit Market is also a full-line grocery store featuring fresh meats and delicious deli items. Pete's Fruit Market, Milwaukee's best produce.
Mark your calendars. Wednesday, November 8th, the ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, a year of resistance at the Italian Conference Center in Milwaukee. Dinner and award ceremony starts at 5. After party starts at 8. Dom.
Crudy, the keynote speaker, is the National ACLU Political Director, Faz Shakir. Tickets for the whole evening, $100 per person, or just come to party with the Devil's Advocates and music from Madison's own Whiskey Farm for just $25.
The ACLU is honoring Planned Parenthood, the NAACP Youth Commandos of 1967, the Bray plaintiffs in their case against conditions at Lincoln Hills, and the lead plaintiff in the voter ID case.
The ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, Wednesday, November 8th. Go to aclu-wi.org for tickets and more information.
I only drink when I feel good. I've got what I love and I love what I've got. It just so happens I'm happy a lot.
We've got Jesse Pica-Holtz in studio with Solidarity Realty. Jesse, why on earth are you advertising in the Milwaukee area when you help buy and sell homes in Dane County?
Simple. Since Walker's policies have taken hold 7 years ago, most new job growth in Wisconsin has happened here in Dane County because of its progressive policies. And plenty of folks who commute to or from Madison already know that many rentals here are more expensive than a fixed mortgage.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Dane County, call Solidarity Realty or find them at solidarityrealty.com.
I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire. I send you to burn. Fire.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio 1510 AM WRRD. Also on YouTube, Facebook, at Twitter at Devil Radio, and the phone lines 844 967-2789.
Dominic, you're not going to have this guy to kick around for much longer.
Yeah?
I got a little speechifying to do. Actually, I'm moderating an event with our buddy, Batman Matt Rothschild, Wisconsin Democracy Campaign, Lisa Graves from the Center of Media and Democracy. They're all going to the Little Schoolhouse in Mount Horeb. I'll be there, 7 o'clock moderating. Be there if you can. Dom, you'll have to take us home tonight. But I think there's a little more Donald Trump you wanted to torture me with before I left.
Well, of course, this news is out. We've been discussing it. The dossier paid for by the DNC and the Hillary campaign. After, I would note, it was initially started and, call it seed capital, angel funding perhaps, from their fellow Republicans. So to me, Crudy...
He did have a primary that was like 16, 17 deep, Dom. There might have been a few that opposed him in the primary.
Well, let's hear what Trump had to say about the sad fake dossier.
Fake.
Let's start with 84.
Well, I think it's very sad what they've done with this fake dossier. It was made up, and I understand they paid a tremendous amount of money.
If it was inexpensive, would it have been okay then?
Well, and how does Trump know how much was paid?
I have not seen that in the public record yet, but
what is public is how much money was paid from the organizations, the DNC and the Hillary campaign, to the specific attorneys, but that is not detailed as to how it's broken down for the fees. Let's keep going. Trump, 85.
Hillary Clinton always denied it. The Democrats always denied it. And now only because it's going to come out in a court case, they said, yes, they did it, they admitted it, and they're embarrassed by it.
I'm not clear, Curdy. Maybe you can shed some light. What court cases are you referring to?
Fusion GPS actually had to claim the 5th last week. I'm not sure how a corporation claims the 5th against self-incrimination, but apparently corporations are people, my friend.
And of course, as described today, they've been let off of that non-disclosure agreement, and now we all know. Let's keep going. Trump cut 86.
It's a disgrace. It's just really a very sad commentary on politics in this country.
We got time for one caller? We got 1 minute. Let's get one caller in here. It's our pal, Betsy. Betsy, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got for us?
Hey, Betsy.
Hey, guys. You guys are having a love fest. Yeah. Oh, my God. Anyway, what I have to say is, look at what his behavior is, whether or not it's evidence as to he has collusion with the Russians. However, Hillary got it with our allies. People have died over this, if you guys haven't forgotten. We're dealing with the Russians.
I'm not sure that there's been any allegations of death, except for that GOP donor that went seeking the Hillary emails and killed himself, but that seems self-inflicted. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates, but I'm outie. Have a happy hour without me.
The sale of the uranium that nobody knows what it means. I know what it means.
I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
The first step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise? Something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org. I was on Zero Res Madison's Facebook page the other day, and they have almost 2,000 testimonials from local customers. Apparently, I am not the only one stoked on how cool this company is. A green technology that actually works better and doesn't cost more. It's a no-brainer. I'm in. We are starting our own Devil's Advocates revolution to free your carpets from harsh chemicals and soaps. Call Zero Res today and ask for the Diamond Crude Special 608-848-9000 or schedule online at ZeroResMadison.com. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward. It's the right way to clean.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD, 1510 AM, Waukesha Mill.
Pyongyang warning, the airline singled out. I'm Barbara Cusack. A stern warning came from a senior North Korean official that the world should take literally his country's threat to test a nuclear weapon above ground. In Pyongyang, the latest from correspondent Will Ripley.
It is increasingly likely that North Korea is going to go through with this plan to detonate a nuclear device above ground, possibly over the Pacific Ocean, a threat that was first made at the United Nations General Assembly shortly after President Trump's fiery speech where he threatened to totally destroy North Korea and came up with that insulting nickname for their leader Kim Jong-un, calling him Rocket Man.
The Pentagon suspects American commandos were ambushed in Niger this month by militants who were alerted about the presence of the U.S. forces. Correspondent Jim Sciutto says the attack that left 4 soldiers dead appeared to be well planned.
A defense official tells us, in his words, it's very probable that someone or some group of people in that village tipped off ISIS to the presence of U.S. forces there. In fact, from the very early after-action reports from survivors of the ambush, they expressed suspicion that they had been delayed in that village to allow for the ambush to take place.
The NAACP is warning African-American travelers to take care when flying with the world's largest airline, American Airlines, as correspondent Renee Marsh tells us.
This really is an extraordinary move for the civil rights organization. To be clear, they are telling passengers, watch your back if you happen to be black and flying American Airlines.
President Trump insists there's a great unity in the Republican Party, despite a searing takedown from Arizona Senator Jeff Flake. Trump described his Tuesday meeting with Republicans on the Hill this way.
I called it a love fest. It was almost a love fest. Maybe it was a love fest.
A federal judge rejected a request by 18 states to force the federal government to immediately resume paying health care subsidies that President Trump cut off. Stocks slid downward with the Dow off 112 points. The S&P lost 12. The Nasdaq dropped more than 34 points. I'm Barbara Cusack.
Have you still not refinanced your mortgage? Well, soon you may be kicking yourself in the head. Hi, I'm Wesley Hogan with Westland Financial, and interest rates have gone up recently and will continue to rise, but they're still at historical lows. So don't delay. Let us lower your monthly payment, consolidate a first and second, pay off other debt, or drop you into a 15-year loan with no closing costs. That's right. Nothing's rolled into your loan. We'll pay for your appraisal, title, underwriting, settlement fee, everything. Do not miss out on this historic opportunity. Whether it's a purchase or refinance, you'll pay no closing costs. You won't spend a dime. Think about it. All it takes is a 5-minute phone call to find out how we can save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year. And by the way, Westland Financial now is proud to offer reverse mortgages for our clients over 62. So call us at 888-455-3669. That's 888-455-3669. It's the biggest no-brainer in the history of mankind. Call us at 888-455-3669. That's 888-455-3669.
NMLS number 3304. Not all loans apply. Equal housing lender.
The Dodgers have got to be hoping past experiences in the World Series hold true for L.A., which took Game 1 against the Houston Astros.
The winner of Game 1 has gone on to win 25 of the last 29 World Series. However, the Dodgers have a tough task in front of them tonight. They'll face Houston ace Justin Verlander, who shut down this same Dodgers team back in August when he pitched for the Detroit Tigers. He'll be opposed by left-hander Rich Hill for L.A. The Astros are still looking to win their first World Series game in franchise history. I'm John Stoll.
The first person sentenced in the U.S. in the World Soccer corruption scandal has gotten 8 months in prison. Hector Trujillo, a former judge who led Guatemala's soccer federation, appeared before a federal judge in New York today. He pleaded guilty to wire fraud and conspiracy back in June, admitting he accepted hundreds of $1,000s in bribes from a company trying to secure sports marketing contracts. I'm Barbara Cusack.
Hello, beautiful. I'm Amy Errett, founder of Madison Reed, a hair color company I named after my daughter. I founded Madison Reed with the idea to create luxurious, ammonia-free, salon-quality, at-home hair color that saves women time and money. Thanks to all of you, it's working. From New York to Florida, California to North Dakota, women all over the U.S. are trying and loving Madison Reed. Whether you're a busy mom, an executive, or a beauty fanatic, this is hair color that gives you the freedom to do more of what you love. This is hair color for all. In under an hour and less than $25, Madison Reed delivers gorgeous, multi-dimensional, shiny hair. Join the hundreds of thousands of women who have discovered a better way to color. Find your perfect shade at madison-reed.com and get 10% off plus free shipping on your first color kit. Use code GOODHAIR. That's code GOODHAIR.
Good afternoon. It's 5:05 for 1510 a.m. WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. A Republican lawmaker wants to stiffen penalties for students who assault teachers. State Representative Jeremy Thiesfeld of Fond du Lac began circulating a new bill for signatures yesterday. Critics say the law would throw more students of color and those with disabilities into the school-to-prison pipeline. Kim Schrader, president of the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association, told the Journal Sentinel, quote, "This bill would, without a doubt, funnel more vulnerable children into the criminal justice system, especially students with special education needs who are already statistically at a much higher risk of incarceration." Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the mid-30s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, highs in the mid-50s. Currently, it is 50 degrees in Milwaukee and 49 in Waukesha. For 1510 a.m. WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly.
The following program is a presentation of DC Communications, LLC. Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Where's Crudy when I need him? I gotta turn my own mic up. Hey, it's the Dom and Fancy Brian show. Crudy, part-timer cutting out, guy has a speaking engagement in the Madison area, so Brian and I are gonna take you home.
Yeah.
So before we came into this hour, we were talking about Donald Trump and the dossier and the fact that it's been now proven, or at least admitted by the Hillary Clinton campaign and the DNC, that they picked up funding for this particular investigation, this dossier, after some Republicans started it. And of course, Donald Trump had something to say about it. Brian, we were having a few cuts here. Let's just start with cut 87. This is Donald Trump today talking about this information that has come to light, and of course trying to cast some shade upon the Clintons and the Democrats. Let's start with 87.
Well, they say it began with the Republicans. I think I would know, but I won't say. It'll be determined.
So look at Trump teasing us a little bit, says that perhaps he knows who started the seed capital, the funding of this dossier. Again, Trump today. Let's keep going.
It might have started with the Republicans early on in the primaries. I think I would know, but let's find out who it is.
No.
If I were to guess, I have one name in mind.
He has lots of names in mind.
I wonder if he's going to reveal this, like all of his sourcing for, Obama being a foreign-born
Oh, yes, the Kenyan president.
No, I have all this information. I will release it at some point.
I have a secret plan.
No, I know, but you can't know.
Yes. And let's finish up Donald Trump.
Now it's turning out that the hoax has turned around, and you look at what's happened with Russia, and you look at the uranium deal, and you look at the fake dossier, so that's all turned around.
I don't know if it's necessarily a fake dossier just because it's come out that it was funded, at least in part, by the DNC and the Hillary campaign. That does not necessarily make the contents of that dossier any less truthful.
That's my point in this entire thing. I don't care who funded it. I want to know if it's true.
Is it true?
That's really what it... Again... Many Bothans died to bring us this information. I really don't care if the Bothans did it or if it was Admiral Akbar himself. Is the information accurate?
And certainly if our president now and Donald Trump as an American citizen prior to that, if he was to be compromised by the Russians or any other foreign government or foreign corporation, I'm not even going to, if there's blackmail material out on this guy, certainly I think that he could be compromised. We as citizens of this country, we have a right to know. And I would hope that if that is the case and there was to be some nefarious things going on here that would expose us perhaps through the blackmail or potential blackmail of the president, that our government would be in on that investigation as well.
That's the thing, is that wouldn't you want to know if you had any, regardless of whether you like Trump or not, wouldn't you want to know that somebody was trying to influence the president?
Well, and I guess ultimately it comes down to, and again, I know they're not exactly analogous, the meeting with Donald Trump Jr. and the Russian attorney in this particular case. But, when you, as a lay person, as someone who just, reads these things and just wonders to myself, what the hell is going on the upper echelons of government and high finance and business and banking and the money flowing back and forth and the foundations and the agencies and everybody at the top seems all just, if not tied at the hip, maybe had a one-nighter at one time or another. And it's very concerning to me as a citizen of this country to have to read these things, certainly from Donald Trump, and now some of this information regarding Hillary and the DNC.
And that's the other thing, is that these people in the upper echelons, I'm not necessarily sure that they even know completely how deep they are in. A lot of these folks have inherited wealth from family beforehand. They now have handlers that take care of them. Name a famous person that doesn't have a personal assistant or a handler that takes care of them.
The gatekeeper.
No, but I'm serious. But these people have so many people that have influence on them that they may or may not have any idea about. I mean, upper echelon folk, they have power handed down to them. They have handlers that take care of a lot of these things.
Well, and that's the thing, that kind of power, when you're talking about, hundreds of millions of dollars, I think in some regards, citizenship just kind of fades to the background. It's all about, do you have the money or do you not? I would imagine that many, many rich people have a lot of things in common. It's certainly not where they're from or how they grew up, but the money. And if you can just jet set, if you can go from one point to another with no problem, hell, seemingly perhaps no borders for you because you get the special treatment because you're the rich person on the plane, or you're the hookup, or you're the contact for some government agency or a governmental entity, it just seems to me that there is less of an emphasis perhaps on these very super wealthy. They speak they speak power and they speak money, and the rest of us are sitting down here jumping out from one foot to another trying to figure out what's going on. So let us move on. You heard Trump talk about the uranium deal. Here's a piece from CNN, Jessica Schneider, from today, specifically regarding this. House Republicans announced a probe into the circumstances surrounding the sale of a uranium mining company to Russia's atomic energy agency, Rosatom, that was approved by the Obama administration in 2010. Of course, we've heard about this ad nauseum from the Republicans, selling 20% of our uranium supply. I continue. The deal had to be approved by the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, a committee that is composed of representatives from several U.S. government agencies, including the State Department, which at the time was led by Secretary Clinton. New questions have been raised by Republican lawmakers in light of reporting by The Hill that while the uranium deal was being reviewed and approved, the FBI was in the beginning stages of a racketeering and extortion investigation into a U.S. subsidiary of Rosatom. Again, this is the company that was approved for the sale. President Donald Trump seized on the new reporting. Of course he did, telling reporters on Wednesday that he feels the newly announced investigations into the sale are Watergate, modern age. I think the uranium sale to Russia and the way it was done, so underhanded, with tremendous amounts of money being passed, I actually think that is Watergate, modern age, he said. The Hill reporting raises questions about whether decision makers on the uranium deal, including members of Congress, were informed of the racketeering investigation that was ongoing. Further, The Hill cites sources indicating that Russian nuclear officials routed millions of dollars to the U.S. that were designed to benefit the Clinton Foundation at the same time the deal was approved. Now, let me read that sentence one more time. The Hill cites sources indicating that Russian nuclear officials routed millions of dollars to the U.S. that were designed to benefit the Clinton Foundation at the time the deal was approved. The Hill does not indicate there's any evidence to show that Clinton was influenced by this. Okay, fair enough. But the perception, it just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that Russian nuclear officials should be sending millions of dollars to the Clinton Foundation while this is happening. I'll continue with the piece, again from CNN. The FBI criminal probe resulted in sentencing of Vadim Mikarin, an executive at Tenex, which is a subsidiary of Rosatom, to a 48-month prison sentence for conspiracy to commit money laundering. He pled guilty for his role in a bribery scheme where Russian interests had compromised an American uranium trucking firm with bribes and kickbacks. Again, this is the Russians using money to influence uranium companies, in this particular case, a uranium trucking company. Again, those things don't look good. CNN continues, court documents connected with the case reviewed do not reference donations to the Clinton Foundation, nor attempts by U.S. or Russian interests to influence the Uranium One deal decision. Since these allegations have resurfaced in the wake of recent reporting, Clinton and members of her staff have disputed accusations that anything improper occurred surrounding the approval of the Uranium One deal. Clinton said in an interview with C-SPAN this week that any accusations that she was bribed to approve the deal were baloney and that they had been debunked repeatedly. Jake Sullivan, former director of Clinton State Department Policy Planning Office, told Wolf Blitzer and CNN in an interview last week that there was really nothing to the allegations of Clinton influencing the decision based on donations made to the Clinton Foundation. Sullivan said that Clinton did not participate in the decision since the approval went through a nine-agency committee. There was nothing here other than a normal process. Former Justice Department National Security Attorney Joshua Geitzer said it's not unusual for the CFIUS review to be handled by career civil servants as opposed to agency head like Clinton on the committee. Geitzer served during the Obama administration and advised the Justice Department's leadership on the matters, but did not join the administration until 2013 after the deal was made. While ultimate approval for a particular department or agency's position on a CFIUS matter may come from its political leadership, the bulk of the analysis that informs a recommendation for that position tends to be produced by the subject matter experts. The timing of the FBI probe is also a key question, as is when officials who approved the uranium deal knew about it. According to court records, the scheme first became known to federal investigators in 2009 when an American businessman was recruited to assist and then alerted the FBI. That businessman became an informant for the FBI and participated in the bribery plan with the FBI's approval. But the FBI did not announce the indictment until it was unsealed in October of 2014, 4 years after the Obama administration approved the uranium deal. The timing is a key part of the investigation announced by House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes. Oh, this guy.
Oh, Danny Nunes. Where have you been, buddy?
I mean, and again, and you read the reporting here. It makes sense. It seems like there could be arm's length for Secretary Clinton. But, again, it's also the Republicans. It's also, it's certainly going to be politicized.
Yeah, it definitely, like you said, does not look good whatsoever.
One of the things that we're concerned about is whether or not there was an FBI investigation. Nunes said, was there a DOJ investigation? If so, why was Congress not informed of this matter? The FBI referred CNN to the court documents and any additional inquiries to the Justice Department, which has not yet commented.
Yeah.
So FBI, CNN talks about this investigation. Now, of course, Republicans are out there trying to push back on their own deal. If the Russians are able to bribe a trucking company and the Russians were able to get into the pockets, perhaps, of people close or even to Donald Trump himself, I have no doubt that they would try all sorts of avenues that would at least be receptive to them. I don't think they give a damn. Anybody seeking to undermine the confidence and the election process and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera here in the United States will use any tool possible. And a funnel and $500,000 of giving millions of dollars per the reporting, at least designated to the Clinton Foundation, would help their cause, at least in a little bit. Why would they not? We are the Devil's Advocates, 844-967-2789. There's another article, Mother Jones, John Podesta's brother, investigated with the Russian probe. Coming back with that in your calls.
The sale of the uranium that nobody knows what it means. I know what it means.
Hey, there's something awfully screwy going on around here.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, I work hard to be a leader in my industry, and I know the challenges posed by changing technology. It's my priority to make sure your network is up over 99% of the time. There's no question, trying to manage your own business IT is risky, costly, and time-consuming. Don't let IT overwhelm you. Learn more about Five Nines at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Have you outgrown your house? Are you sick of apartment living? Not ready to buy but know you need to move? Hi folks, this is Tom Hartman for CCL Management in Middleton. You should consider moving up to one of the finer rental homes CCL Management represents. Unique houses and condos, always clean, most are pet friendly. Visit cclmanagement.com today to find your new home. CCL Management, Dane County's premier leasing and property management company.
Call CCL Management at 833-0009. That's 833-0009 or visit cclmanagement.com today.
In Wisconsin, the laws are the same for bicyclists and motorists, so if you bike, ride with the traffic and obey signs and lights. Whether you ride a bike or drive a car, you must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians at marked and unmarked crosswalks. At intersections, always look for pedestrians before making a turn and slow down in school zones and neighborhoods to keep our kids safe. Share and be aware. We're all responsible. Visit shareandbeaware.org to learn more.
So, Jesse, why should someone buying a home pay for an agent when they can go online or call a number on the for sale sign?
Great question. First of all, never call the number on a sign to see a home. That's the seller's agent, and they don't represent your interests. If they show you the home outside of an open house, you forfeit your ability to have someone negotiate in your corner to buy that house at no cost to you.
Well, with interest rates still at historic lows, how can buyers still get a great deal and protect their rights?
Step 1, find a buyer's agent that you trust.
Like you?
Like me. I will find the home that best fits your needs, anticipate problems, and negotiate on your behalf from the offer through closing day. And the best part is that the buyer doesn't have to pay a dime for me to represent them.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, they're honest. Whether buying or selling in Madison or Dane County, call Solidarity Realty 608-284-9311 or find them at solidarityrealty.com. Hi, I'm Crudy. I'm here with Bill Carroll, president of Teamsters Local 344. Bill, why are you union? Teamster strong.
Well, Crudy, our strength comes from our membership. The Teamsters are North America's strongest labor union with 1.4 million members.
Bill, what does the Teamsters do for the next generation?
The same thing that the Teamsters have done for the last 100 years. Assisting groups of workers in negotiating improvements in their wages, hours, and working conditions.
Where do people go if they want to know more about the Teamsters, more about joining the union?
There's 3 easy options. They can call Local 344 at 414-258-4545. They can contact us through our website. That's local344.org. Local, the number is 344.org, or they can contact us through the Local 344 Facebook page.
Be union strong. Join Teamsters 344. Be like Crudy. Be like News Talk 1510 AM. Stand with the unions. Join the Teamsters. Local344.org.
The Devil's Advocates.
Major Wisconsin media, they have wrapped our state in a propaganda machine. They push the Wisconsin Walker agenda. That's what is happening. So we have to break that. And it's going to be a lot of work, but thank God we have 1510 there to help.
Jake, thank you so much. It's going to take more than just 1510. It's going to take people like you and all you listeners.
Making radio great again. The Devil's Advocates. Never personal, only politics.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD 1510 AM. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook, on Twitter at Devil Radio, and on the phones for you, 844-967-2789. You know, sometimes, Brian, it's a little depressing talking about these things. I don't know, depressing. I guess, knowledge is always a good thing. And the Mother Jones from October 23rd, Dan Friedman, edified me on a couple of things. Let's get to it while we have some time. Podesta Group and its founder, Tony Podesta, have become subjects of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's wide-ranging investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 election, NBC News reported on Monday. It's the latest sign that Mueller's probe has ensnared prominent American lobbying and law firms. The Podesta Group, a Washington lobbying and public relations company known for its ties to Democrats, is among several firms that worked with former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort on a multi-year effort to boost the standing Viktor Yanukovych, the pro-Russian president of Ukraine, who was later forced from office in 2014 uprising. Tony Podesta is the brother of Hillary Clinton's former campaign chairman, John Podesta. Due to their work for Ukraine, Podesta and Mercury LLC, another prominent lobbying firm, already faced scrutiny in the Russian probe, but NBC reports suggest Mueller's focus on at least Podesta has escalated. The NBC report does not say why the firm and Tony Podesta himself are now subjects in the probe, as opposed to witnesses providing information. The news shows how Mueller's sprawling investigation into potential coordination between the Trump campaign and Russia has put pressure on well-heeled D.C. lobbying firms and highlights their often lax compliance with the Foreign Agents Registration Act, a law requiring lobbyists who work for foreign governments to file reports with the Justice Department detailing their activity. Here's a little detail for you, Brian. Prior to joining the Trump campaign, Manafort provided consulting and lobbying work for a number of authoritarian figures. That included Yanukovych's Party of Region, for whom Manafort helped set up a nonprofit organization called the European Center for a Modern Ukraine. Through that organization, Manafort hired the Podesta Group and Mercury LLC to do public relations and lobbying work aimed at shielding Yanukovych from international condemnations for actions such as jailing political rivals. So, Paul Manafort, the former campaign chairman for Donald Trump's campaign, through his subsidiary, hired Hillary Clinton's campaign manager's brother to do work for them in Ukraine.
This is just getting more and more ridiculous.
This is like 90210. I mean, what's going on here?
Trump gave money to Hillary's campaign too. Who knows if it wasn't funneling money through from Russia?
From the Russians.
Who knows?
Right. I mean, this is just way too close for me. This is way too close. So here's the thing. Either they're all in bed together.
Probably.
Or everybody is just, no, I didn't know. No one knows what the other hand is doing.
And probably as well.
To some degree, perhaps.
Can't
but
both be true.
It's really hard for me to believe that these well-heeled, well-traveled, intelligent people don't know what they're doing. And is there not a conflict? Is there not... Am I the only one that thinks Well, wait a minute. What? So Manafort hired John Podesta's brother to do lobbying work in Ukraine, and of course, then everyone's yelling about the Ukraine thing. But I mean, Podesta was right in there. At least the brother was right in there with it. And now Mueller from the FBI is apparently looking at him a little more closely.
Oh, you're talking about Tony Paz? Yeah, oh, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
Tony Paz, he's my
guy.
guy.
So here's my point, I guess. The political arms of each political party, these consultation lobbying arms of these political parties, were both working for the same strong man, which everybody criticized, or many people, the pro-Russian leader in Ukraine. That's a little disturbing to me.
But by the way, Ukraine is against Russia, or maybe, or they're all.
I don't even know. I don't even know why I'm here, Brian. What is going on in this world? Is this how it's always been, or is this just something new for us? 844-967-2789. Maybe we'll turn this topic asunder and talk about Weedick and the Foxconn. Coming back, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show live, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, 1510 AM.
Russia, if you're listening,
go away, boy. You bother me. I got work to do. What am I doing?
You are listening to Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, WRRD, 1510 AM, Milwaukee, Waukesha. There is not a gun to my head right now.
Scott Walker thinks Wisconsin should once again hire him as governor.
You wouldn't hire me to be a neurosurgeon.
This is a person who has not worked in the private sector since 1993.
You wouldn't hire me to run condos. You wouldn't hire me to run HP.
And has made his political career.
You probably wouldn't hire me to run the United States Senate.
By using divisive tactics to the benefit of his corporate donors.
First step is we're going to deal with collective bargaining for all public employee unions. Because you divide and conquer.
Now he supports the largest publicly funded government subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history.
You know, they can go suck lemons.
And Scott Walker has yet to live up to his first campaign promise to create 250,000 jobs.
Is this a campaign promise, something you want to be held to?
Absolutely.
Scott Walker, we the people are done sucking your lemons. This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org, p4ppc.org.
Pete's Fruit Market, a family-owned business serving Milwaukee for more than a generation, now has a brand new second location at the corner of North Avenue and Martin Luther King Drive in Milwaukee's Brunsville neighborhood. The new store is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week and always features the freshest fruits and vegetables at the lowest prices. In addition to offering the best produce, Pete's Fruit Market is also a full-line grocery store featuring fresh meats and delicious deli items. Pete's Fruit Market, Milwaukee's best produce.
Mark your calendars. Wednesday, November 8th, the ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, a year of resistance at the Italian Conference Center in Milwaukee. Dinner and award ceremony starts at 5. After party starts at 8, Tom.
Crudy, the keynote speaker, is the National ACLU Political Director, Faz Shakir. Tickets for the whole evening, $100 per person, or just come to party with the Devil's Advocates and music from Madison's own Whiskey Farm for just $25.
The ACLU is honoring Planned Parenthood, the NAACP Youth Commandos of 1967, the brave plaintiffs in their case against conditions at Lincoln Hills, and the lead plaintiff in the voter ID case.
The ACLU of Wisconsin's Bill of Rights celebration, Wednesday, November 8th. Go to aclu-wi.org for tickets and more information.
I only drink when I feel good. I've got what I love and I love what I've got. It just so happens I'm happy a lot.
The Devil's Advocates. Political commentary from the back of the class.
Hey, Ike, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got for us today?
Fantastic. Thanks for taking a call. And I got to start off with my favorite wrestler, Bobby the Brain Heenan.
If the Wankinator was a wrestler, who do you think would most personify the current governor?
I got a great name for him, Scott the Shyster Walker. I think that should be his wrestling name.
I think it's already been used. I think it's his skateboard name, sir. Allegedly.
Good afternoon. It is 5:33 for 1510 AM, WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio. My name is Brian Kelly. The cost of misconduct by Milwaukee police officers over the past 2 years will cost taxpayers over $21 million. The amount includes about $17.5 million for settlements and almost $4 million for interest and attorney's fees, according to the Journal Sentinel. Since the city sets aside only $1.2 million a year for police misconduct cases, Milwaukee has had to borrow money to make the payments. In some cases, the costs keep adding up as the city fights the case years after an officer is fired or convicted. Tonight, mostly clear, lows in the mid-30s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, highs in the mid-50s. And Friday, mostly cloudy with a chance of rain in the morning, highs around 50. Currently, it is 48 degrees in Milwaukee and 48 in Waukesha. For 1510 AM WRRD, my name is Brian Kelly.
Watergate pales as compared to what we're confronting now.
The Devil's Advocates, because freedom.
And welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show, live on Wisconsin's Resistance Radio, 1510 AM WRRD. I'm Dom, that's Fancy Brian. Crudy's out running around right now, so we're going to bring you home today. Lots to talk about. Well, let's get some callers. 844-967-2789. It's not all about us. Love to hear what our audience have to say. It's Pizza the Box. Hey, Mike, welcome to the Devil's Advocates. What do you got for us?
Man, I'm sick of watching MSNBC. Morning, Joe Kinscaria, bro, is back at it again. And so are all these spineless Republicans that come on and just can't take a stand against Trump. It's like, what a bunch of... We thought the Democrats were spineless. Look at these guys. Flake is crying. Okay, get all emotional. Stick in the Senate and kick his ass back. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And when the bottom line is, guys, at the end of the day, they still vote for the same crap that Trump stands with. They're just mad, they're like, look at him, he's dividing the country. Yeah, like Scott Walker divided our state, but you guys think he's doing a great job too, don't you?
Well, as long as they continue to push the agenda and push the politics, they're totally fine with that. Yeah. 77% agree with the job Trump is doing, if not with his personality or the way he does it.
No, this is just outrageous. People are stupid. They're going to swallow this tax cut thing. I mean, it's outrageous. It really is. And then listen to guys like Schumer. That's not who we need out there defending us. We know who it is. Still the Bernie Sanders thing. I'm still feeling it. I mean, I am. I got to do a party tonight. I'm helping in catering, and there's going to be a lot of Democrat former legislators and dignitaries and stuff at this little party, so I'm going to just make sure I stay in the back room doing dishes.
Now, Mike, I know obviously you're a Bernie guy and you're progressive, if not a Dem. I heard Trump ripping today, hey, our party is all about the unity. We're all together here. Look at those Dems, all the Hillary and the Sanders and the hate and the dysfunction. What do you think, man? I mean, do you think that the parties, their activities, the issues that every organization has, that the Democratic political party is any worse or better off than the Republican political party at this point?
Well, I think that the uprising within the Democratic Party that nobody's paying attention to, except for criticizing Bernie the other day because, he broke his promise to run as a Democrat in the future. Man, they broke his promise with us and him by running such a shoddy primary for the Democratic nomination, and I didn't buy any of it. I think, I watched what I thought the DNC was using was the same kind of tactics that I watched Walker and the Republicans use, with a lot of misinformation and propaganda and name calling Bernie crazy and all of us along with them. We'll see. Yeah. 2018's coming up. We'll see. A lot. Bannon's talking about taking guys out. Maybe there's going to be a movement the other way that is going to bring people to great leadership to the top on the other side. But I say independent. That's what I am from now on. I don't care. Neither party really stands for what I'm dealing with. And I think Bernie still does as an independent. He knows that poverty is one of the huge issues, and that comes with wages and everything else. So I'm riding that train still.
Right on, Pizza Box Mike. We certainly appreciate it, as always. 844-967-2789 if you want to jump in.
Something occurred to me during this whole Russia, did Did people conspire with Russian agents and things? And the thing that's being lost here is that American spy jobs were being lost there. Why couldn't we? Why do we have to outsource this information intelligence gathering? We have perfectly good spies here that are apparently out of work trying to run coal in America.
You know, I got to tell you though, Brian, it's hard for me to think that, you know, the information that and the activities that went on back then are not somehow already known. I mean, we found about the NSA, you know, and the dragging and collecting of all the information. I have no doubt that some of this stuff is known, and it's really a matter of how and in what legal process does it get out. 844-967-2789. Hey, we got a caller. It's Michael Crute. Apparently he wants to Walker bash. Hey, man, I was going to get to Foxconn, but you can't stay away, can you, buddy?
Buddy, I don't want to talk about Foxconn. Where's our governor today?
You said he was up north.
Northern Wisconsin. What else is up north in northern Wisconsin? Lincoln Hills. Will the governor ever visit Lincoln Hills? Dominic Selby, I ask you that now.
Will the governor ever visit Lincoln Hills? I have no expectation that he would. No. Not a chance in hell.
Today, as I understand it, my buddy, our friends over at WisPolitics said the governor said he has no intent of visiting Lincoln Hills despite the new unrest. I mean, hell, they're worried about a prison riot. The poor intimidated governor might get himself hurt if he went up there, Don.
What a disaster, and what a shame that this governor has not taken any effort, any action. And of course, he's such a man of action. You ask him about anything, and he's all about it, and he's making Wisconsin better. But he's the one that caused all these kids, all these people to be sent up north, and many of them are from the Milwaukee area, away from their families, away from their support system, and ship them off up north, and then what, to get abused by staff up there? FBI investigations? Come on, Crudy, you know he's not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Well, did the governor not declare some state of emergency, some sort of ban, because he said they've lost control effectively of the juvenile detention center since the federal court said they must stop using pepper spray with the same frequency and stop putting juvenile offenders in solitary confinement. And despite the increasing incidence of pepper spray usage and my understanding still high incidence of solitary confinement, the Walker administration has lost control of a juvenile detention facility.
Thank you for the call, Mike. Always a pleasure, my friend. Yes, you are absolutely correct. And Governor Walker has no plan, nor do I believe he even cares about what happens up in Lincoln Hills.
I do have to say, in Walker's defense, I'm sorry, I can't even say that out loud. But anyway, in Walker's defense, he did appoint an interim, he asked somebody to appoint an interim administrator at Lincoln Hills because they've been without one since September. There's no one running the thing. It's a rudderless ship going off into space where nobody's in control.
Well, and when you can't abuse the inmates to the degree that they were, apparently it's a little harder to control. But when you abuse people, what kind of reaction do you expect from the abused?
When you're taught from an early age that no matter what, you're not worth anything, you're not even worth the amount of freedom that the Unabomber has,
right.
And that you're not worth anything, and that anything that you do bad is going to result in violence. So when somebody does something bad to you, you're surprised that they're reacting with violence?
Right, that's what you taught them.
These are already traumatized kids. These are people who are, and you're giving them more trauma by punishing them and putting them in solitary confinement in that way. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be held accountable for their actions.
Of course not.
But when you perpetuate the situation...
They should not be abused by the state as a function of their incarceration.
We're paying for their abuse. We are paying for and sanctioning their abuse with our taxpayer dollars.
Governor Walker, it'd be nice if you did something. I know Crudy didn't want to talk about Foxconn, but he's not here, and I don't have to take his call. So let's wrap the day up on Foxconn. 844-967-2789. Editorial from the Wisconsin State Journal editorial board. Remember when Nancy Pelosi, the Democratic leader of the House and Congress, needed to pass her party's sweeping health care bill to see what was in it? Well, that quote was taken out of context, but her Republican critics still had a strong point. Members of Congress should read and fully understand complicated proposals before approving them. The same goes for state leaders in Madison, where the state's economic development agency is close to finalizing an elaborate and expensive contract with Foxconn to bring the flat screen manufacturer to Racine County. Senator Tim Carpenter, a fine guest a couple days ago on this program, who sits on the agency's board, demanded this week to see the Foxconn deal at least 48 hours before voting on it. That's a reasonable request. The Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation is negotiating wording of the Foxconn agreement as authorized by the governor and the legislature last month. Yet, as of Tuesday, WEDC inexplicably hasn't agreed to disclose the contract to the Democratic senator from Milwaukee. Instead, Carpenter fears he'll be given only a staff analysis and summary of the agreement, which he doesn't trust. It seems like they are control freaks of information, Carpenter said Tuesday. I think board members will be kept in the dark. They shouldn't be. Carpenter isn't a fan of the Foxconn deal. He voted against the legislation last month authorizing WEDC to draft specifics of the $2.85 billion deal in state subsidies for Foxconn. And WEDC appears weary of Carpenter criticizing and potentially undermining a final deal. But government transparency shouldn't be flouted for political reasons. And it's not just Carpenter who should get to see the Foxconn contract. Just as important, the public should gain access to the bulk of the deal that isn't proprietary information. Some Republicans have concerns too. Senator Rob Cowles, a Republican from Green Bay, a fiscal conservative, voted no on enabling legislation, citing financial and environmental worries. And an audit discussed by Cowles' audit committee Tuesday pointed to problems WEDC has had tracking and verifying jobs at companies that receive state financial incentives. Delaying the Foxconn contract for too long could jeopardize the deal. Foxconn had other suitors for its $10 billion plant, which the company says will open with 3,000 workers and could eventually, maybe someday, employ 10,000. But Wisconsin shouldn't be handing out billions of dollars in government subsidies to the Taiwanese company without being sure taxpayers can recover funds if Foxconn fails to hold up its end of the bargain. Already a problem with the contract was discovered that could have jeopardized the state's ability to pull back money. Oh yeah, a nuclear bomb, it was described as, Brian. Finally, the Wisconsin State Journal editorial board concludes, we're skeptical of the deal and urge more taxpayer protection. The least WEDC can do is respect the public's right to know how its money is being spent by releasing the contract before it's finalized. Allowing public scrutiny is the best way to ensure dollars aren't wasted.
This is what happens when you vote in people whose entire cornerstone is that government doesn't work. When it doesn't work, they can say, see, I told you.
Well, here's a little news for you, Brian. According to our pal Jesse Apollyon over at the Cap Times, the headline, WEDC won't release contract before it's signed. What? Come back with us. Final segment, The Devil's Advocates on WRD 1510 AM, 844-967-2789.
If this factory goes under, the whole town goes under.
It's a very sad commentary on politics in this country.
And that's when the whores come in.
I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping.
Hi, this is Brad Saug, owner of Zero Res Madison Carpet Cleaning. Zero Res is the best new technology in carpet cleaning. We have a patented process using empowered water, a high-tech process in which we force the water to act like soap. It doesn't want to stay in that state. It's jacked up and it's angry and it wants to hit the dirt and then it neutralizes. When we're done, all that's left in your carpet is just light moisture. In the end, you get the cleanest, greenest, healthiest carpet cleaning available. Call us at 848-9000. Zero Res. Spell it backward or forward, it's the right way to clean.
Hi, I'm Anton Capella. As Chief Technology Officer at Five Nines, it's my job to make sure your network is up 99.999% of the time. Technology is constantly evolving, and keeping your business up to date in an ever-changing environment can be a hassle. At Five Nines, we're here to help. Five Nines is more than just our name. It's the level of service you can expect. Better IT gives your business a competitive advantage. Learn how Five Nines can help at fivenines.com. That's the number 5, NINES.com.
Do you own a rental property, or would you like to partner with a rental investment team? Call the pros you can trust at CCL Management. Rental expertise second to none, a general contractor on staff to direct repairs and improvements, and real estate brokerage services tailored to the small investor. If you're ready to invest in rental property or just need professionals to manage your real estate portfolio, call us, CCL Management, at 608-833-0009 or visit us on the web at cclmanagement.com.
In Wisconsin, the laws are the same for bicyclists and motorists, so if you bike, ride with the traffic and obey signs and lights. Whether you ride a bike or drive a car, you must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians at marked and unmarked crosswalks. At intersections, always look for pedestrians before making a turn, and slow down in school zones and neighborhoods to keep our kids safe. Share and be aware. We're all responsible. Visit shareandbeaware.org to learn more.
When you need an attorney, trust the voice of experience, the only choice. Lawton and Cates.
I needed an attorney because I was injured at work. I wanted to find a reputable attorney. The results that I got with Lawton and Cates were very good. I'm very happy with the way I was treated and the end result that I got.
Trust the voice of experience. Call the attorneys at Lawton and Cates. 282-6200. 282-6200.
Hey folks, sexy liberal Stephanie Miller here. Most new Wisconsin jobs are in Dane County, it's true. Some of my listeners are relocating to Madison. Many already commute there. When asked where to turn for a trusted real estate team that understands Madison, I say the same thing. Solidarity Realty. They help you through the process and protect your consumer rights. They live their values building community, promoting sustainability and diversity. Find them today at solidarityrealty.com and tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Have a drink at Regano's Roman Coin. This neighborhood corner tavern is as classic as the street it occupies. Family owned and operated since 1966, Regano's Roman Coin is located in a former Pabst Tide House on historic Brady Street, serving an array of craft beers with a focus on Wisconsin breweries. Also, weekly drink specials, trivia on Wednesdays, seasonal sporting events, parties hosted for all occasions, and pet friendly. Open 11 a.m. Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday, closed on Monday. Regano's Roman Coin, Milwaukee's pet friendly, cash only order and classic corner tavern.
In 50 feet, turn left. Why are you driving so slowly?
After a few drinks, I'm taking it slow.
Well, you're not fooling the cop behind you.
What?
Get ready to pay in 0.1 miles.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates. We drink when we toast when we drink.
Oh, yeah, it's almost happy hour. It's happy hour. It's almost quitting time. 844-967-2789. I'm going to have a drink on me pretty damn soon, Brian.
Literally?
Literally. Let's get to, before we get to the phone calls, I'm going to just get into this piece, Jesse Apoy. And of course, as mentioned last segment, the Wisconsin State Journal editorial board thinks that, we, the people, should see the contract with, the largest subsidization of a foreign corporation in American history, initiated by Trump, shepherded by Walker, and to be, finished off by the WEDC, that perhaps that organization and those two people may not be entirely trustworthy. Maybe we should get some eyes on this deal. But you know what? That ain't going to happen.
Just trust them. These guys know what they're doing. They clearly have a track record of...
The fine reporting of journalist Jesse Apoyan in the Cap Times. WDC won't release Foxconn contract before it's signed. We won't be changing our process relative to when contracts are available, said the WEDC CEO, Mark Hogan. Any contract that WEDC signs is available to the public once it is signed. State Rep. Melissa Sargent, a Democrat from Madison, had requested the document be made available for public review before it is executed. Her and lots of other people. Sargent requested Hogan and other WDC officials as to whether the agency could effectively execute a contract as significant as the one with Foxconn. Of course, we're currently in the process of finalizing the deal. Hogan said this: I'm not going to comment on the Foxconn contract because we're currently in negotiations, other than to say, I think as with any contract, those negotiations are ongoing. There's never a point in time until you sign the contract that it's finalized. What, you can't give us the sticking point? How about the parts that are already agreed upon, the parts that are still being worked on? Nope. Those fine people at the WEDC, they know best. Senator Kathleen Vinehout, a Democrat from Alma, who is seeking to challenge Walker in the 2018 gubernatorial election, echoed Sargent's concerns, asking for assurances that the deal wouldn't be rushed at taxpayer expense. She drew comparisons to a 2012 deal with aviation company Kestrel Aircraft that went badly, leading WEDC to threaten legal action. Hogan argued significant improvements have been made within WEDC since the Kestrel Award was approved, including bringing Hogan in to head the agency in 2015. Hey, we're way better now. I'm here.
Oh, yeah. That really helps and gives me confidence. I feel good giving them. In fact, I'll let them negotiate all of the deals in my life.
Forever, right? Everybody's deal all the time. Mark Hogan, you are the man. Hogan said he takes very, very seriously his role in protecting the state's taxpayers. Oh, my Senator Alberta Darling, a Republican from River Hills who can't do math, my editorialization said, it's important for lawmakers to demand transparency and accountability from the agency, but argued they also shouldn't exaggerate negative observations. Like what, Kestrel? Here's what Darlene said. If we're all in this game together to create the best place for Wisconsin to live, work, and play in Wisconsin, we have to be accurate about how we view the Economic Development Agency. Yes, we should be accurate. We know, and Jesse Poyen points out, the committee met to discuss an audit released in May that found that WEDC had improved its administration of grants, loans, and tax credits, but still could not accurately measure how many jobs it has created. WEDC, quote, cannot be certain about the numbers of jobs created or retained as a result of its awards, the nonpartisan Legislative Audit Bureau reported in its biennial review. State Auditor Joe Chrisman said Tuesday the primary areas in which WEDC has not complied with recommendations have been in verification and accuracy.
It involves math, and that's very hard, especially when your education budget is cut every single time.
Nice. Verification and accuracy. Hogan said the agency expects a partnership with the State Department of Workforce Development will improve WEDC's ability to track job creation. Unfreaking believable.
You didn't have an idea of how to track it going in? That's the problem.
They still do not. After all this time, they still are not doing it. They don't know. They cannot tell. Yet this is the very agency tasked with negotiating the largest subsidy of a foreign corporation in American history, and they can't even see a hustle with Kestrel Aircraft when it falls on their lap. Oh, yeah, that's right. That was announced the day before the recall was announced. Governor Walker had to push that one, so he had another headline. I'm running out of time here. Let's get to at least one caller. Paul from Wisconsin. Hey, buddy, how you doing today?
Good afternoon. Hey, my friends in Northern Illinois and the people they talk to, they're all happy about the Foxconn deal. They don't have to pay for it. They're state of Illinois. And they'll get some of the jobs, and they can. It sounds like they're going to be able to take the train to work. So what they're saying or telling me is, "Thank you, Walker." Hey, if you're from Illinois though, and you work in the state, you have to pay Wisconsin state taxes. At least we'll get that out of them, right? Or is that wrong?
No, I believe that is in fact the case. You pay the taxes where you work, Paul.
Yeah, but Wisconsin actually has a deal to pay back Illinois for taxes that were the difference, by the way. We lose money on that.
Like reciprocity and reverse
absolutely.
of some sort. Folks, we are the devil's advocates. Concerned about the deal. I love the fact, want to get business, want to get jobs, want people working, love to see some entrepreneurs, like to see some millennials stick around. But this current environment, where we're using the resources of the government to prop up poor governance, be it at the state level, be it at the national level. Damn, people. Come back with us tomorrow. We're going to have our libertarian buddy, Phil Anderson. He's running for governor as well. and perhaps we'll have some surprise guests. Thank you for joining us today. We are the Devil's Advocates. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Crudy. We'll be back tomorrow on WRRD, Wisconsin's Resistance Radio.